All right, hello everybody. How's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Let's turn this music off, shall we? Poof. There we go. How's it going, everybody? It looks like we got the regular rogues gallery here. We got Magus, Silent Echo, the Panicked Monk, Valtiel, the End King, Arif Toloro. All right. How's everybody doing? Silent Echo, how about the Shattered Space DLC, huh? People aren't too happy about it. Arif says Shattered Space reinforced his buyer's remorse. Oh boy. All right, so let's get the Shattered Space stuff out of the way first so that, you know, we can move on with our lives and become friends again. I've been playing it. I am about 10 and a half hours into it, and I'm not even through the main quest yet. Maybe, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through it. I haven't played it all, so I don't know. I have found the story to be very compelling. The opening areas, like where you first go in and everything, they've been very linear, like much more so than a regular Bethesda experience. They don't open up anything very quickly to you, but those linear experiences on the space station and then in the Serpent's Path has been fantastic. The incredible ambiance, mood setting, and everything like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go see what the reviews say. 30%. Wow. Okay. So I'm not surprised that it's getting review bombed here. Actually, I expected it. What I was surprised about was when I came in here and I started seeing reports of it's only 3 to 5 hours long and there's only 2 new guns and there's no new companions, which led me to believe that maybe we're not playing the same game at all, because like I said, I'm 10 hours into it, haven't finished the main storyline. I've done one side quest. And there's still a ton of stuff for me to explore. I'm easily going to put 25 hours into this and, you know, it's going to feel good. People that are saying it's only 5 hours long and you don't get any new items and there's no new companions are objectively wrong, because, you know, I'm putting more hours into it. I've gotten 6 new weapons, all with a full suite of mods, and I haven't seen anything more than that yet, but I have to assume that I haven't seen everything. And I've seen 2 new companions that you can add to your crew. They can follow you around. They have unique dialogue. I'm enjoying it. I don't know. I don't know. Are we playing different games here, or are we just focused on different things? The only way I can see getting through all this in 5 hours, if you're sprinting from blue dot to blue dot, from quest marker to quest marker, and skipping through dialogue and not stopping to explore things, which is objectively like not how you're supposed to play Bethesda games, right? I think Bethesda fans who have a lot of hours in Skyrim and Fallout, they know that's not how you enjoy the environmental storytelling. I think they did a great job. I do have criticisms. Like I said, it was very linear in the beginning. It doesn't really open up till the end. There is a complete lack of like diversity in the biomes. It's all just like that purple, pink, Morrowind looking thing all over the place. And just Starfield's art style and the design of its architecture and everything in general is very like industrial kind of temporary outpost stuff, and that kind of does bleed into this a little bit. And so that does make it feel more kind of like desolate and barren. It does actually make sense for this, though, because they did have this big cataclysmic event in the center of their city that kind of wiped out most of their stuff. You can consider that like, you know, convenient storytelling to not have to flesh out the place completely. But the playable area is about the size of Skyrim. It's not quite as dense as Skyrim, but there are plenty of completely unique handcrafted areas to explore that are outside of the main storyline. There are quests, side quests, and lots of dialogue, which you know, I think is divisive for a lot of people. A lot of people don't consider dialogue to be content, but I do, and that is a direct result of fan feedback saying that since, you know, Morrowind and Oblivion, BGS has been neglecting the dialogue side of things and fleshing out like character to character interaction. And so Starfield does have a ton of dialogue. I'm very happy with where that is, and Shattered Space kind of continues that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you played it, or are you just going off of the reviews? Because you're going off the reviews, then yeah, you're probably going to think it's terrible. But and also I listened to Gopher's first impressions and Renfail's review on it, and they completely corroborate my experiences. So I'm not the only one. I'm not just an outlier like BGS shill, right? So I mean, what did you not like about it, Arif? Is it just the same complaints everybody else has about it? It is a little bit expensive. It's $30. I would say it would probably be better priced at 20. But I think the closest comparison that I have from this and BGS's earlier DLCs would be somewhere around Shivering Isles and maybe Dragonborn. If not just a little bit lighter on the content than those. But again, I don't know because I haven't played through this whole thing yet. But I'm getting a lot of Shivering Isles vibes from this. And that was priced at, I think, like $26. And you couldn't get it for $26 because BGS made it 2,600 Microsoft points back in the day, which means you had to spend $30 in order to get the 2,600 points, which was shady. And some people wonder why people hate Bethesda. They were they were right up there with that marketing bullshit from the very beginning. But yeah, might need to catch up with you on that. Okay, yeah, no problem. Unfortunately for Bethesda, I've actually watched Event Horizon and know how this plot pans out. Oh, okay. I've watched Event Horizon 2 a few times. I'm not seeing a one-to-one. There are definitely some similarities. I'll wait till it goes on sale. That's always the smart option. If you, I think $20 would have been a great launch price for this, and I think if you can get it on sale, it will go on sale because of the negativity on this. Starfield went on sale really quickly, especially at retail outlets. They're trying to get rid of stock or whatever. You're not going to get a DLC at a retail outlet. A lot of us already paid for the collector's edition on this, so we already have it. So that $30 doesn't. It's a sunken cost anyway. It doesn't matter. But yeah, this will go on sale probably for $10, and I think that's a fantastic price for this. A great value. A lot of the reviews are saying it's not worth any price. That's wrong. There's a really good story here. It really fleshes out the Varun faction in ways that it wouldn't have if it were part of the original game. And this directly addresses the feedback that there aren't enough handcrafted areas. This is a Skyrim sized, completely handcrafted area. So yeah, there you go. Let me see feedbacks. It's worth about $15 that it is $20 if you consider the buggy part of the DLC, the buggy being free. Yeah, I mean, as it is right now, I kind of have a hard time moaning differences of like $5 with the price of games these days. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the Diablo 4 expansion, which looks amazing, and I'm very excited for. That expansion costs $50. The Elden Ring expansion costs $40, and then you can argue you can get more content for that, but for me, I wouldn't be shocked if I'm getting 30 hours out of this. I'm definitely going to hit 20 hours, and then when you consider replays and new characters, new game pluses and stuff like that, I'm going to get several times that amount on subsequent plays. I love this game. I'm not giving up on it anytime soon. So prices of DLC are going up. The one outlier would be Phantom Liberty, right? Phantom Liberty was a $30 jobber that was basically a full game in its own right, minus all the pre-existing models and assets and things that they used, which that's what an expansion is. And the other critique of this is I don't really know. It expands some things, but it's mostly just a content add-on. It's a bolted-on story add-on. It's very kind of self-contained. I am hearing reports that there are some general dialogue options changed in like the main game, like out in the proper Starfield world that mention this kind of thing, and Andresia's dialogue is changed in her romance quest to kind of match up with what happened in this DLC. That's another thing. People are saying that Andreja doesn't have any unique dialogue. She has a ton, from what I've seen. She's always chiming in on things. She's filling in some missing gaps about Maroon culture, because you are a fish out of water. You're an outsider trying to make their way in this very kind of cultural bubble here. And she chimes in conversation a lot to help you kind of like persuade people one way or the other, because she knows how to talk to her people more than you do. So there's a lot of so I don't know. I don't think we're playing the same game anymore. My catch-up comment was actually meant for Magus lossless reply. Oh, okay. Yeah, lossless scaling is it's pretty good for games that don't have like built-in DLSS support or whatever. Yeah, so I think we can agree on the price. I think $15 would be a great price. $20 would be like the expected good price of it. $30 would, yeah, it's a bit steep, but not offensively so for me, from my experience. I don't know. New games are always overpriced. Somebody said they're going to wait for it to go on sale. The Left-Handed Jedi said they're going to wait for it to go on sale. That's always the smart bet, right? Don't play new games. If you wait 6 months, they're going to go on sale. You're going to get a much better experience because they're going to polish out all the bugs. They're going to address all the fan feedback. They're going to add in holes that were missing. That like Star Wars Outlaws is another one that came out to a lot of critical reception. Saying that, you know, the speeder was bugged out, the stealth mechanics sucked, and now a couple months later, we're getting an overhauled speeder experience and stealth mechanics. So if you just would have waited, 6 months, you're going to get the better version of the game, and it's going to be a lot cheaper, right? So don't play new games. I do it because, it's like the video game hype cycle is one of like, it's what energizes me. It's like one of the few things I get excited for in my adult life anymore, right? I feel like a kid again, being excited for a game and then putting it in and experiencing it brand new. And then watching all the trailers and everything and being, oh, that looks sick. Maybe I'm just a hopeless optimist at heart, but that's my life. World's most milquetoast and okayest game, bland and flaccid. It's like they do that on purpose, hoping the modders will just pick up the rest of the weight. Just lazily made. It's like they have an HR rep standing behind them, muffling their creative freedom. I don't get the same feeling. The laziness stuff. They did have a lot of innovation in Starfield. I don't know. A lot of the flavor of Starfield was hidden behind like these ridiculously stringent RNG roles. And like I said earlier, it's like the whole look and feel of Starfield as in general is very like industrial, kind of NASA, like we're going to set up a temporary outpost here instead of something that feels more lived in, like Skyrim or Fallout, which, is also very industrial and temporary, but has much more post-apocalyptic flavor to it. The biggest valid complaint about Shattered Space I've seen is that essentially it should have been in the game from the start and is being sold as a separate piece. Well, I mean, they've been working on this for a year and probably from before it was released, at least making the concept. So, I mean, if you wanted to wait another year for Starfield, then maybe they could have put this in there, but that probably would have made the game more expensive because it would have increased development cost. But isn't everything most games put out later, aren't they all kind of well, yeah, that's how capitalism works, right? I mean, it's not BGS, it's not Shattered Space, it's not Starfield, it's the industry. Everybody's doing it that way. It's I would say for better or worse, but I think it's for the worst. But like either you don't play new games, you just replay old games all the time, or you just, you gotta try to deal with it the best you can. And for me, that's like not buying overpriced bullshit right away. But if there's like the microtransactions I don't deal with, but the expansions are something else. I love BGS. I'm going to be there day one on all their stuff until they do me dirty, which a lot of people feel like Starfield did do them dirty and now Shattered Space. So that's fine. I'm not dismissing your feelings on that. Kirkbride just liked drugs, I guess. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people say the same thing about musicians who get clean and now all of a sudden they can't write a hit to save their lives. Maybe. Never forget the horse armor. Yeah, they were there from day one with the horse armor stuff, so this is nothing new. People are acting like Bethesda betrayed them with this, but this is Bethesda. Take it or leave it. Love it or hate it. This is Bethesda. We had official CK at launch. The game would have taken... I don't think they've ever given an official CK at launch, though, for any of their games, except for maybe SE. And that wasn't really a new game. That was just a port of Skyrim to newer, larger memory pools and a 64-bit process, which isn't insignificant. It is a pretty big technical lift to do that. I know because I've done it with the product that I work on as a software engineer, and there are a lot of ramifications to it, but that stuff all existed already. That's the point, though. Yeah, I don't know that works, though, Magus, because Skyrim already existed. You can't release a new game that already exists because it's a new game, right? There's a chicken and an egg going on there. Overall, though, I wish Bethesda would take a page out of Larian's book. Larian was working on Baldur's Gate 3 for like, what, 10 years? And it was in early access for, it must have been, it felt like 2 or 3 years. Maybe it wasn't that long, but Bethesda and like all other game developers should make use of that early access tag, right? Why aren't they? Get it into the hands of the players as soon as possible, get the feedback on it so that when you do go live with the 1.0 version of the game, like Satisfactory did, that game's going berserk bonkers right now with player counts, and I think that's like a $27 game or something like that, and it's like a factory supply line game, but people are absolutely loving it because it was in early access for so long. No, I mean, they saw what was happening with Skyrim and free mods, and they released the CK at launch. More people would have picked it up. It sold well enough, but it could have been better. Yeah, I mean, every game could have been better. Yeah, I don't know. It always could have been better. Hindsight's 2020, right? I don't know. I don't have any beef with the Starfield release, honestly. The CK could have come sooner and in better shape. But the CK has always come a little later and in bad shape. Even the SE CK, while it launched and everything, there's still a lot of bullshit hoops you got to jump through to get that thing to work correctly, right? Or at least in a way that you can work with it in a semi non-hostile environment. It's not fighting you. And the gameplay sucks in all their games. I don't know. I enjoy it. Oh, wait. Also, rumors about Ubisoft to be bought out by a major gaming company. Yeah, I saw the things about Tencent. Yeah, the Ubisoft stuff is kind of sad, but they made their own bed on that one with just completely reselling the same experience over and over again and abandoning their interesting IPs for trying to fit everything into the Far Cry and Assassin's Creed formula to the point where everybody was just sick of it, like EA did with Rock Band and Guitar Hero and the Tony Hawk games and stuff like that. They just bled that thing completely dry. Let it breathe a little bit. Let people miss your IP before you put something else out. Never forgive Ubisoft for what it did to the crew. Did they decommission that? I think that was like there was an online component to that game. I thought that did they completely get rid of that thing? So now if you bought the crew, now that they've turned off the servers to it, it's a completely useless game, even though you paid full price for it. Now you can't play it. Is that what was going on with that? I didn't follow the game, so I don't really know. It's Papyrus, of course. There's yeah, Papyrus is wonky. Yeah, Tencent, the BlackRock of gaming, and yeah, Ubisoft made their own bed with that one, so they must lay in it. Yeah, and I don't think it was this is usually isn't the devs' fault. The devs usually want to do something cool and interesting with their games, but the publishers, the CEO, the Yves Guillemot of the world, are saying, no, we need more Assassin's Creed stuff, we need more open world stuff, we need more of this, and we need to get into that Fortnite pricing model, and yeah, everybody's sick of it, so no wonder it's failing. Devs are like us. Yeah, they can make more money doing productivity software and work less hours. They're in the gaming for the passion, because they love these IPs as much as we do. So yeah, whatever happens, I hope the developers land on their feet. I hope the publishers learn a lesson, but they won't. They'll be, just doing their same bullshit with a new company, new studios. Yeah, that's the way of the world. Darn shareholders and their grubby hands. How many Redfalls do we need? Well, not enough, apparently. And I think that's the crux of the issue, right? We're getting these things that we don't want, and it has to do with publishers that are out of touch with the gaming general population. I was going to say publication. Population. The general gaming population. It's like, okay, they know business, maybe, but they don't know gaming. If they knew gaming, they would know that people don't want another Fortnite. People don't want another World of Warcraft. People don't even want another Call of Duty. They've chosen those games. Those are the games they're going to hunker down with. If you try to release something like it, it's not going to be as good. People aren't going to like it. People don't have time to play it anyway, so release something smaller, more conventional, a single-player, story-driven narrative that Sony was doing for so long until they did Concord. Come on. Going public, man. As soon as a company goes public, they've sold their souls for one thing and one thing only, and it ain't the product. Yeah. And you can Bethesda smacks of that. I still like Bethesda games, right? I still like it a lot. In fact, look at this here. This isn't me being obstinate, right? So I have like 4,500 hours or 4,400 hours in Skyrim. That actually doesn't even count the time I spent on console. Next up is Starfield at 506 hours. This isn't slowing down. I love this game. If I were just digging in my heels and being a BGS stan, I would be a much less happy person because I don't have a ton of time. I have like maybe 1 to 2 hours. If I have insomnia, maybe 3 or 4 hours every night to play games, and I'm choosing to play it with Starfield. I've installed, let's see, since I've had Starfield installed, what else have I played? I have played nothing I put a ton of hours into. I played not Hogwarts Legacy, that came out earlier last year. Vampire Survivors for 30 hours. I have played Dragon's Dogma 2 for 20 hours. I have played what else? Outriders is a backlog game I put 17 hours into, right? Jedi Survivor I put like 3 or 4 hours into because that was a shit ass PC port. I ended up playing the rest of that on PS5. But oh shit, I got for the great chat. Hey, thanks man. $10? I don't deserve that. You're too generous. Dragon Age I played for 7 hours, and all of these games. RoboCop was an awesome game I played for 14 hours, but you know what? I'm always coming back to Starfield. I've uninstalled all those games. I've kept Starfield because I love it. People do like this game. So it's not incredulous that when you see somebody trying to defend this game on Reddit or in the Steam reviews or on YouTube comments, it's genuine. It's coming. People do like this game. People do actually even love this game. It's not a dead game. It's not getting a ton of player on Steam, but it is hovering around that 13,000 player mark, which is probably a lot more than a lot of the detractors think. But 13,000 on Steam when most players are probably playing on Xbox or Game Pass is those are good numbers for a single player game. It's not a dead game. It's far from dead. Rage 2 was not a good oh, I loved Rage 2. I don't know. Is it cool to hate gaming these days? I played 52 hours of Rage 2. The open world stuff was tacked on, and I didn't. The A to B like travel time wasn't good, but once you got to like a quote unquote PoE, some of the shooting mechanics are really good. I thought it was right up there with Doom 2016 as far as the shooting mechanics. Who has the higher player count? It's actually closer than you would think. I think Skyrim goes between 20 and 30,000 on Steam, when Starfield goes between 13 and 20,000. It's close. I'm not saying Starfield is better than Skyrim. I'm saying Skyrim is like an all-time greatest game of all time things. The Rage game, I only played Rage 2, but it's kind of like this post-apocalyptic. Who made Rage 2, by the way? Who was the studio behind this? It was Avalanche, right? Oh no, id Software and Avalanche. So it had the Doom. That's why I'm saying it's right up there with Doom. What was it, 2016? The Doom reboot. And that makes sense because id Software worked on the shooting mechanics. Avalanche kind of tacked on the open world stuff, and I think they were like the head studio for this, and id Software just helped them out with the shooting mechanics. So recent reviews are mostly positive. This one got slammed a little bit, but 63, that's not bad for today's standard. Like I said, gamers hate video games these days. No, there are some legitimate concerns about the video game industries. I'm right there with you. But I think the criticism needs to go to the publisher and not really the games, because there are some really good games that are coming out. It's a fantastic time to be a gamer. We have all these quote unquote 7 out of 10 experiences. And then you still have your outlier 9 and 10 out of 10 games that everybody plays and everybody loves, but those are all grading on a curve. I suspect that if a lot of these 7 out of 10 games came out 10 years ago, they would be 9 out of 10 games. Rage 1 was great. Yeah, I never played Rage 1, but it was more of a linear kind of experience, right? It was more of a traditional FPS single player game. Whereas Rage 2, they kind of, this is the publisher like dictating that Rage 2 has to be an open world game. The open world stuff wasn't good, but the moment to moment shooting mechanics on it were great. So yeah, I don't think that the gaming industry is in a poor state. I think that, you know, at this point we have hundreds and hundreds of games. How many games do I have? I don't know. I probably have like 400 games or something in my backlog, and I have another, let's see, played No Return, 93 games that I've played already, and that doesn't count everything that I've played on console. So yeah, I'm broadening my horizons here. I'm not just a BGS stand. I play all kinds of different games, and I enjoy all kinds of different games. So we're good. Everybody take a breath. We'll be okay for a while. And if you don't like the new stuff, the old stuff is still, yeah, Skyrim is greater than it. I'm right there with you. See, we agree. I just also like Starfield, and I think it's worth my time. But obviously, I do play Skyrim all the time as well, still. I make time for it because I love it. I would love a good open sandbox Star Wars game, not Outlaws. The Jedi series, the Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order was less of an open world sandbox game. Jedi Survivor was the open world game, but it has such technical issues. It's really hard to recommend. But as a Star Wars game, I think Fallen Order and Survivor were very well designed games in terms of progression, things you can do with gameplay. The world exploration was good. I think they just tried to go too far with Survivor, and they were concentrating on all that open world filler bullshit when they should have been concentrating on making sure that their game performed well. Okay, so I think we've beaten that dead horse, right? So we can forget about Starfield and all become friends again when we talk about a less contentious subject in Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is getting beat up too. The new Vessel of Hatred expansion. This is more of a true expansion than Shattered Spaces. I will give it that. We have a whole new land to explore. We have a new class. The Spiritborn, which is kind of like people are calling him a jungle monk, but he wields spears, quarterstaves, and these new weapon types called glaives. It looks really cool. There are these different animal styles, kind of like a druid, but more spirit oriented, like jungle spirits instead of like actual animals that you're commanding. You take on the aspects, kind of like these totemic aspects of these different animals. Like you got a centipede for poison damage. You got the jaguar for like speedy teleporting around, quick strike type things. You have the eagle, which does more of the ranged stuff. And then you have the gorilla, which is the tanky stuff. And all of it looks really cool. There's the eagle. That looks like an ultimate. Of course, with anything Blizzard, the cinematics are going to be top notch. The story presentation, even if you don't like the writing itself, the story presentation itself is going to be, you know, top of class. This one looks fun. New itemization, stat shrink, so things are more, the numbers are going to be a lot smaller, but that makes buildcraft more manageable, you know, all your perks and everything. And then there's some new game modes here, some new end game modes to explore. The kind of like how the Infernal Hordes in the Pit were. Now we have like the Undercity of Karast, and we have something else. But they're all kind of like the same. It's a very high level content that you're trying to get through in the least amount of time possible to maximize your rewards so you can take on more higher level content and get higher level items. And that's how the cycle goes and goes and goes for this game. This looks fantastic. This comes out on the 8th, I think. So just 3 days from now. I've already pre-purchased it. Talk about expensive expansions, though. This one's $50. That's again, it's not Starfield, it's the industry. So go ahead and direct that at Bethesda, but it's, you know, it's everybody else too, except for CDPR. CDPR is the good guys. They're the outliers here, and we're all rooting for CDPR. So they had a really hard time with the Cyberpunk launch, right? That launch was orders of magnitude worse than the Starfield launch was. Starfield launched in a good spot. People were actually reviewing that well. People loved Starfield, or not Starfield. Yeah, people did. The initial reviews for Starfield was great. People just didn't really like the end game exploration aspects of it. And, you know, the more that they saw that there were loading screens involved, and the repeated POIs, and their opinions started falling short of it. But Cyberpunk was almost completely unplayable for most people when it dropped. They completely turned that thing around. And since with the Phantom Liberty expansion was one of the best values in all gaming, that would stand alone as a great game on its own. And then the Blood and Wine DLC for The Witcher 3 was another great value. They're consistently great value at launch, as long as you can get through their technical issues when their main game launches. But again, the people who win are the people who wait with gaming, right? Put that thing on your backlog, on your wish list or whatever, and then buy it on sale and play it later when it's fixed. I would play this game if I wasn't absolutely disgusted by Blizzard's management people. I think there's been a lot of churn in Blizzard's management. I think they've fixed a lot of the gross stuff that was going on before. I think at least Team Diablo is in a pretty good place now. Their monetization practices are, you know, they would make Pete Hines blush. But you don't have to engage with it. I just ignore most of that stuff and play the damn game, which is actually pretty good. I wonder when D4 is going to have a Diablo as a villain. It's coming. You know it's coming. Mephisto's going to be the one for this one. Lilith was the one for the Diablo 4 main game. It's coming. They got to put Diablo in an expansion. So I've done the math right. 4,000 hours equals 166 days equals 23.8 weeks, which 45.7% of a year, and that's certainly underestimated. Yeah, you think that's a lot. Look at Magus's hours in Skyrim. You know, I mean, this game has been out for 13 years, though, right? So I'm not the biggest nerd here, I don't think. Magus has me beat on that one. Fallen Order was highly... Yeah, so that's another thing. The story-driven stuff. That's why I can't compare Cyberpunk to Starfield. I feel like it's apples and oranges, and a lot of people want to compare those two things because they're new open world RPGs. But Starfield is a sandbox. If you're saying which game is the better sandbox, Starfield wins 10 out of 10 times. With Cyberpunk, it's not a sandbox. You're not going to be able to go cause havoc like you can in Starfield or any BGS game, because of the way that the physics systems work, the way that the NPCs work, and all that. That's all just very facade driven in a CDPR game. It's like, okay, these other NPCs are going to stand in this one spot forever. There's not really anything that you can do to mess with them too much, except for, like, shoot them. And they did kind of make some improvements with that. You point a gun at them on the streets in the 2.0 update. They will react to that, and they'll either fight you or whatever. But they're not their own entity doing their own thing. And Starfield did pull back on that aspect for Starfield. And much to my chagrin, I wish they would have kept the NPC schedules like they did in Skyrim and Fallout 4. But CDPR tells a much tighter, focused, story-driven narrative game. And because of that, their focus on what they have to develop for is much more narrow than anything BGS does. BGS has to program and design their game to work around any style of play, anybody doing anything at any time, which is exceedingly difficult, which is why only they do that. Not even Obsidian does that. And a lot of people say Obsidian is just BGS, but better. CDPR is very tightly focused on one narrative, one character telling one story, and because of that, they can go far deeper into their story experience. So the more sandboxy aspects you have, kind of the more paper thin your story driven content is going to be. And a lot of people bemoan BGS's writing. It's never going to be as deep as something like God of War or Cyberpunk or anything like that, because those are too narrowly focused to really even compare. They have to be purposefully simplified and sort of shallow in order to get everything to work. I've got like 5,500 hours in. Yeah, so Left-Handed Jedi is more of a nerd than I am. I'm not a nerd. You're a nerd. Magus is a freak of nature, though. Hey, there's James. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm looking forward to this. Other than that, there wasn't any other news. I think we already talked about Ubisoft is dying. Yeah, that's big news a lot. But, that writing's been on the wall for a while. Nobody's surprised. I am still looking forward to the Assassin's Creed game. That got delayed. Hopefully they fix it up and right all the wrongs there that, a lot of the inconsistencies were there. They're not getting rid of Yasuke. That guy's in there to stay, but a lot of the, more minor cultural stuff that a lot of the Japanese audience was calling out is going to get fixed. Turns out that the higher ups did not give them their historical consultants until way too late in the dev cycle. So yeah, they missed some stuff, and now they're gonna polish that stuff up, fix some bugs, and hopefully that'll be good, because I do want to play that one. All right, let's see. So is that it for the? Remember my first 5,500, 2013 was a fun year. Oh my God. Yeah, Magus is, he's the alpha nerd. I have shit to do. Yeah, yeah, me too. Okay, so that's Diablo, that's Shattered Space. Let's play Skyrim. Oh no, we got to do the community spotlight. I think this is another thing we can rally around. So in the community spotlight is EJ and Skyrim. I think we can all share, we might be split on the current state of the gaming industry here. We might be split on Starfield, but I think we can all share our love of EJ and Skyrim, right? And if you don't, go to EJ's channel and subscribe. This is easily one of the most talented content creators on all of YouTube, in my opinion. I feel like saying in my opinion is even too soft, because they're really, really, really good at what they do. So there was kind of a lull in content between the last content drop and this one. EJ's taking a break for sure, but man, they came back with some really, really good content here. This is an hour long. It's very dialogue, cinematic, storytelling driven, and it's not just piggybacking off of Skyrim's story. This is all new story stuff with new characters being told in a very cinematic and entertaining, engaging, compelling way. EJ does all of the voice acting, all of the music writing, all of the editing, all of the story writing for all this stuff. And it's absolutely incredibly phenomenal and deserves a lot more than the 1.46 thousand subscribers. Amazing, amazing content. So yeah, I think I said on some of the Discords and even in the comments here that this is easily like one of the most engaging, entertaining hours of Skyrim content I have ever seen. Even like Couch Warrior stuff included. It's phenomenal. They have a name for that, polymath. Multi-talented people. Yeah, that's it's impressive. It's impressive for sure. Oh look, the Skyrim's almighty algorithm is suggesting me to myself. Oh, never change YouTube. Okay, so yeah, there's also hundreds of hours of content here, and then like Panicked Monk in last week's Spotlight, you can learn a lot from role-playing this game, getting more out of your game, the game that we've been playing for, a lot of us have been playing for 14 or 13 years now. Just getting some roleplay tips here and there, some different ways of thinking about certain situations and how to make sense of that in your character's head. And what makes this even more impressive is that EJ is doing all of these characters simultaneously. In this episode, they all kind of interact with each other, but each one of these characters has like a storyline that he role plays in their own kind of I would say playlists or whatever, in their own timelines. So yeah, that's really impressive that they can keep all this straight the whole time, and especially like doing it live, like having a conversation between 3 different people with 3 different voices in your head and voicing it all out loud at the same time is a skill on its own. So if you're not subscribed to EJ, go click the subscribe button and watch the content. You're sure to be entertained for sure. And if I remember correctly, EJ is disabled ads on the channel. So even though we're trying to get EJ more subscribers, they're not trying to make any money on this. They're just trying to get their story out there. EJ is fantastic. There you go. Glowing endorsement from the alpha nerd himself. And then here's the Wind. Welcome, Wind. How are you? Are you still melting over there? Is it still hot? It's definitely hot here. We've had record-breaking heat like 2 or 3 days in a row now. I feel your pain. I did buy the game on a military that had a GameStop at the PX there on base. Got it on a midnight release. Let's see what game. Mountain biking and playing disc golf. There you go. Yeah, if you're on a military base, you probably have a lot more time than you think to play video games, because there's not like a lot else to do out there once you're kind of done with your day job. I mean, I was never in the military, but both of my brothers were. Filling your day with a video game is This one agrees. EJ's story is fantastic. Absolutely. Skyrim. Okay, gotcha. Wind, what's up? Okay. So, all right, that's it. We got the news, we got the mod showcase, we got the community spotlight. Oh, I got a thing in the mail I wanted to show you guys, because some of you guys are retro gamers here, and you share my love of like old games and stuff. Check this thing out. Ooh, everybody's going on a ride. So, all right. I've had this thing on back order for a while. Let me we go. Oops, no, not that one. I gotta figure out my own hotkeys here. So this is an old front loader United States release of the original NES, right? I've had this for a few years now, and I had one when I was a child. I've had one at various states of my adulthood. I've completely refurbished this. It turns out new 72-pin connectors, which is where the game plugs into the console. The ones that you get are manufactured in China or whatever. They're really, really bad. They wear out after like a month. This thing called the Nintendo is amazing. I had this thing back ordered for like 2 or 3 months now, and they finally did a new fabrication batch of it. And this thing adds a ribbon cable, so it's not like the C-clamp 72-pin connector anymore. It's a straight connection so that it acts more like a top loader that doesn't ever wear out because you're sliding the game directly into it and you're not using like bent pressure on the pins to get the game to run. So this one has like a tighter, more guided drawer that you slide the game in and it guides it perfectly into the pins. And then it holds it into place really well, but not so tight that you have to have like the death grip to get it out of there. And it never wears out. It's always good. So that was kind of a nerdy purchase. I had to do a little upgrade on my jobber there. Not really anything too significant for somebody who's Skyrim focused, but you know, I'm kind of proud of it. I played some Mega Man 2 and some Ninja Gaiden earlier in the week. It was good stuff. Blow into your cartridges to play. Yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. In fact, that was counterproductive because the moisture from your breath would cause like the pins to rust. No good. Heck yeah, I'm a retro gamer. Used to work at an arcade repairing pinball machines. That's sick. That would be like, if you could make an actual good living off of that would be like my my dream job, like repairing arcades and everything. Like I don't know the guy's name, but the Galloping Ghost arcade guy who does who owns that thing, the dude with like, he's always wearing the fingerless gloves, like he's like some kind of goth badass or something. He's got like the long black hair. That guy has like the best life ever as far as I'm concerned. His whole life is centered around running this arcade, making sure the machines are all up in working order, and not just working order but really good working order. And then he's just constantly trying to track down new arcade machines. He's got like a huge arcade space. I think this is out of Chicago, by the way. I would love to visit there someday, but yeah, let me see. I think Galloping Ghost, I think it was what. Yeah, this is a huge arcade. I think it's in, I thought it was Chicago. I could be mistaken. But yeah, he's got this huge space with like multiple levels and stuff, but then he's got like an adjoining warehouse just filled with games that he's waiting to cycle out. And so it's like every week or two, he's got new games in there for people to come in and play. And for people who grew up in an arcade, the stuff is like amazing. Shoot 'em ups, fighting games, beat 'em ups, and then all the Boone 23 was in here earlier talking about Burger Time and things like Centipede and Pole Position and everybody's old favorites, and Donkey Kong, the platformers from back in the day. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, if you're ever, yeah, right here, Frosty Faustino is in Chicago. Yeah, if you're ever in the Chicago area and you're a retro gamer, check this thing out. It's a bucket list item for me. We'll see. I'll get there someday. Joust, that's another one. That was a good one. Yes, James. Okay, so you're talking about UK mid 80s for. Okay, so it's not high 80s at least. You're looking a little better, but with humidities, pretty gross. Haster's here. Welcome, Haster. Yes, I actually saw that, Joe. The Panicked Monk, his latest episode, has a cameo by EJ doing Mehrunes Dagon and doing a fantastic job. EJ always seems like this unassuming, like sweet, like little elf, I think. But they do a mean evil person, that's for sure. I wonder how cathartic that was for EJ to voice that and be all scary. But it was pretty cathartic. Hopefully this doesn't mark a turn in EJ's persona, because that would be scary for all of us. Doing that now as an adult, installing interactive games for a gaming company called Activate Games, like The Floor is Lava and Laser Tag. Oh, I even as like a 43-year-old past my prime dude, I still love The Floor is Lava type stuff. I love a jungle gym, even though I don't fit on them anymore. Heat would be okay if there's, yeah, breeze is a saving grace. I got y'all beat. Right now, you can actually see on my screen, it is 101 degrees Fahrenheit. 102, it just got hotter. Look at that. Damn it. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. I am going to, okay, we were another 56-minute news, reviews, community spot. Oh, I didn't talk about mods. Let's do some mods real quick here. Mod showcase. All right, so the first one that I wanted to show was Magus80 has a new armor mod out. I'm going to go ahead and send this out to chat right now. All right, I think that's fine. This is the Redguard Noble armor. He's using this for an adult child. Yeah, me too, Silent. That's the way to be. That's the best life to have as an adult child. Yeah, it's just gonna get hotter. It's not even noon yet over here. So that's what I'm dealing with every fucking day of my life. Yeah, all right. So this is a Magus80 mod. This was ported from LE, I believe. He's got the link to the LE stuff over here with the permissions and everything. But he's added like the tempering and crafting ingredients and stuff to this. He's fixed everything up on it. It looks fantastic in SE for sure. It's got red and blue variants to it. And this is for his new Redguard Ansei, I guess a sword singer build that he's been working on. I've caught a couple streams earlier this week, and it looks like the character's coming along nicely. His game's looking fantastic. But this one looks really good in action, and it actually also does come with, or it doesn't come with it, but there is an optional retexture for it as well. Retex. I think this was meant if you're just running the LE mod on its own, but it works with Magus's SE conversion as well with all the goodies. And I've installed this one in my game too. Just it adds a little bit of depth. It's kind of like a Zavbio or a Midian-born treatment to it. It darkens some things where it needs to be darkened, adds a little bit of a shading gradient to it, and gives you a whole bunch of options for the armor pieces. I was partial to the red and gold for whatever reason. I don't know why, that just seems more Redguard-y to me. But if you want to play more of an assassin with the light armor, or a more dark themed like Nightblade, or just a darker themed character, you can do that. Almost like an evil mastermind vibe on this one with the metal arms. But this is kind of the one that I went with, the red and the gold. It looked really good in the game, and I can show that off. Also, mod showcase, this anti-aliasing mod. So this one isn't sexy, right? It's not going to add any kind of like new content to the game. It's not a new armor. You're probably all just not even really going to notice a difference with the way it looked. Let's see, screenshots here. I have my screenshots. It's on my desktop. So, oh, god damn it. I have that set up as I have GIMP set up as my default way of opening image files here. So I gotta open that up with photos. All right. So this is with the DLAA. This is an anti-aliasing method that you're going to be very, very hard pressed to see the difference. And this is with just the TAA that most people are running. And this hooks into ENB as a way of managing and enabling it. It doesn't actually require an ENB at all. It just, you need the binaries in order to run it. And you would have to look really closely at a microscope to really tell the difference. But the diagonal lines here, They're just slightly more well-defined than the ones. You can see a little more well-defined, like black outline on the DLAA one as opposed to the TAA one. But you'd have to look under a microscope to really tell the difference. It does look better in motion if you're moving the camera. It does hold up better to the things like ghosting and blurring and things like that. It's going to look better in motion, but again, you're probably not going to notice. What this does do is it moves all the anti-aliasing stuff off of your GPU and onto your 30 series or 40 series tensor cores, so your AI chips on your NVIDIA card. So that does free up a few FPS. It'll improve performance. It'll make it so that now your GPU doesn't have to be busy processing its anti-aliasing to get rid of the jaggies. It's being handled by a dedicated part of your GPU that isn't just about pushing pixels to the screen, right? So that's worth a shout out. If you have ENB running, there's not... Okay, so you do need to have a 20 series, 30 series, or 40 series card, or anything higher than that. It's got to be NVIDIA. DLAA is an NVIDIA specific technology. AMD does have its own FSR 3.1, I think, that is also covered in this. So if you do have an AMD card, or actually if you have any card, because AMD stuff is all software, it's not hardware specific. You can, so if you can't do DLAA, you can still do FSR 3.1, which is their kind of DLAA anti-aliasing answer to NVIDIA's stuff. Also has FSR. Yep, there you go. Just installed that and was asking Magus about it earlier. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not sexy. You're not going to notice a difference, except you are going to see a few frames. Depending on your card. The weaker your card, the more boost you're going to see from it, I think. It's made FSP a bit slower, but more stable. Oh, okay. This one noticed it adds extra triangles. Interesting. That is interesting. So, hold on. Let's see. Somebody added me. Let me see. Are your next builds or gameplay series you are doing next, Karn? What are your next? Okay, so, yeah, I have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, guys. I loaded the wrong profile. I wanted to show off the DLAA and the armor in action here. So obviously the next stuff that I have going on is going to be the warrior, the mage, and the thief. I've been working on that for months and months, right? I do have the voiceover recorded for a melee gameplay guide that I want to put out. It's just a matter of finding the time to capture the very specific video footage I need to illustrate the points that I'm making, and then splice that together. As soon as I get a few nights where it's like I'm not playing a game, I wasn't really too busy at work, so I don't need to decompress, and I can actually focus on editing. I can't imagine it's going to take me more than 2 or 3 nights to get all that stuff done. It's just a matter of finding the time for it. And then the warrior build guide will come out. The mage is still a little slow coming because of all the spells and everything from Skyrim that I have to go over and cover in that. But the build concept is more or less done. It's just fleshing out what spells I'm going to use in which situations and how to incorporate shouts. That'll be next. Now I'm going with the thief. And for the next few weeks, I can see us playing the thief. And speaking of the thief, I know last week a lot of you were saying, okay, I went back and watched it, and I was like keeping a closer eye on the comments. And a lot of people were saying, okay, what about melee? And I was expecting more of a thief, not so much a sneak archer. We're going to be getting into the thief stuff now. It's just we needed to work our way up to that point. The level 0 raw thief is kind of more of a stealth archer until you get to the Thieves Guild and you can start unlocking those jobs. And fences is a big thing. Unlocking fences is huge. This lurker needs a nap. Bye, everyone. Good rest of the stream and day. You too, Toloro. I hope you get some good rest. Thanks for lurking. The better your card, the higher the boost? Okay, because of the tensor cores on there. Yeah, and I'm always getting pretty high frame rates on Skyrim. I'm running a 4090, and you can see my GPU is barely getting hit. It's 57, 60. That one CPU core there is getting hit at like 90%, so that's where the bottleneck is, obviously. But, you know, I'm getting, you know, 80, 85, between 70 and 90 FPS in this area, which usually isn't too heavy anyway. And this is with the DLAA running. But this is also, this is in bright sunlight, so this is a little bit washed out. If I move over to like a more shadowed area over here, you're gonna see, yeah, the retext is a little bit darker. But this is a fantastic looking piece. Magus picked a good one, and he did a good job porting everything over and getting everything to work. So fully functional, fully craftable, fully temperable. All the keywords for the survival mods and whatever that you need for warmth and everything, they're in there. All good stuff. Ported over to the Form 44. Resaved, everything's converted over. The meshes and everything. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Very good stuff. So if you got a Redguard flavored warrior or something, or even like maybe a hybrid mage or something. I know Redguards usually don't like magic very much, but hybrid builds are more interesting. Well, it's just the truth of it. And then there's even some options for like I said, if you want to go more of a Redguard assassin or a Redguard thief, you got the darker options for that too. I just like the fancy golden red for whatever reason. Looks more Redguardy to me. Have I tried Skyclimb yet? No, not yet. I am not opposed to it. I did have an acrobat build though that kind of fit that bill for me, using double jumps and kind of tweaking jump heights and stuff. I was able to get on every single roof in the game with that acrobat build guide that'll walk you through how to do that. So I've never really felt the need in Skyrim like I needed something to climb. EJ is running that mod, and it does look a little bit clunky. But you know, Starfield has that clamber mechanic too, and that's that's definitely clunky as well. I don't know. It's probably one of those things that, you know, you probably feel good that it's there, even if you don't use it all the time. When you do want to use it, you're glad it's there, right? Definitely good for a thief character though too. But yeah, to answer Silent Echo's question a little more completely, there are more builds that I want to do, more hybrid builds and more classic classes. There was someone in the chats earlier talking about a Dragon Rider build, saying that he'd like me to do that and apply my buildcraft talents to a Dragon Rider build, which is basically never used. That is an interesting challenge to me, because that whole mechanic is kind of clunky, but I can see ways of making it better through Ordinator and different spells and things. I do have a Shadow Shot combat archer build that I want to kind of integrate the Shadow Triumvirate spells in with the combat archery with some Lion's Arrow and stuff, and using big Azura's Wrath explosions once you have your Magicka all the way charged up. What else? There's all kinds of stuff. There's a Barbarian concept that I have had rattling around in my head for quite some time now, and I think that would be really fun to play. And then a Pilgrim build with the light armored warrior type stuff with a lot of crafting. That is a classic class from Oblivion that kind of went away when they moved over to Skyrim. And there's a whole bunch more. I've actually been tinkering with the idea of creating my own Discord for a little while now, just so I can have a place to put all these different build ideas and make notes on them and stuff. Right now I'm just putting them in this old school notebook. I like the act of writing and reading from a book still, even in this digital age. It helps me think better, but being able to talk about and like share notes on future build ideas and stuff like that and have them completely fleshed out before I take them live on YouTube has been something that I've been tinkering with, but I really don't like the idea of babysitting a Discord, of my own Discord, right? I don't mind helping out with mod duties on other Discords and the couple that I'm a mod on there. And then private Discords are fine too, but babysitting an open Discord sounds like a nightmare to me. So much to the point where I was thinking about pay gating this Discord, not because it's going to become a source of income for me, but because it's going to limit the amount of people that are in the Discord helping out with these builds. But that doesn't feel fair either to the people who are always here on the channel. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. And I don't want anybody to feel bad for like not getting an invite to a closed Discord either. So I'm kind of in this weird position. I wish that YouTube had better comment supports and like post supports, because I could, if there was like a message board on YouTube, like a Reddit style message board on YouTube, that would be like perfect, right? Because I could just put everything that I needed to in its own thread on that. But with the community post system, it's just not organized in that kind of way. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. We'll see. So there's that. Yeah, there were more builds that I had in my head, but now that you put me on the spot, I can't think of many. All right. Well, okay. So we went. I try to limit this like opening with the news and the mods and the community showcase to like an hour. It looks like we went about 12 minutes over. So I'm gonna take a quick, I don't know, 5-minute break or so. I'm gonna refresh my beverage. I'm gonna go get a quick protein bar to fuel me through the next 2 hours. And then we'll do some actual thieving. How about that? We have joined the Thieves Guild with Collects Many Things. And we're gonna do some thief jobs. And we're gonna do some pickpocketing. And we're gonna probably run away from some guards and set up some escape routes and things like that. That's the essence of this character, and we're finally getting into it. It's not just a sneak archer anymore. I think. I hope. We'll see if that actually pans out. All right. I'll be right back.
why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Very good, sir.
Man, that was quick, huh? Yeah, Joe with the
5-minute break?
Spaceballs quote. Gotta love it. Argonian fans in chat. Yeah, Argonians are cool, man. I find them both interesting and challenging to create like a full fleshed out character concept for, because of their kind of mysterious history and stuff. They do give you a ton of leeway in telling a unique story, but also like they don't give you a ton of history to work off of. The history that they do have is cool as hell with the shadow scales and, you know, the Oblivion Crisis stuff and their attack on Morrowind. And the fact that they're, like Silence said, they're kind of like avatars of the Hist. Not always, though. I feel like if they're the farther away that they get from the Hist, the less of the influence they have and more of their own people that they become. But was that Mags? Spaceballs. you thought that Rick Moranis' voice was Magus? That's funny. I don't think it's anywhere close to his voice, but that's hilarious to think about. Spaceballs is classic, man. I might have to go back and watch that again. It's spooky season, though. What kind of horror movies are you guys watching? My boss recommended a movie called Talk to Me. It looks pretty spooky. It's a newer movie, so it's got a bunch of douchey teens. Well, that's been a horror trope for a long time, right? Is put a bunch of douchey teens in there so that you don't feel as bad when they get slaughtered mercilessly. But then I'll go back to my classics. You got to do Friday the 13th. You got to do Nightmare on Elm Street is another one. Let's see. I got a bunch of classic ones like the Wolfman, the original Bela Lugosi, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy. All good in their own right, worth a watch. But in terms of like actual scary imagery and stuff like that, the newer movies are going to do it. Some of my favorite horror movies of all times, though, are the Evil Dead series, just because they're so funny. The first one wasn't meant to be funny, but it was. The second one was definitely meant to be funny, and then Army of Darkness like wasn't even a horror movie anymore. It was just a comedy. Hellraiser's a classic, yeah. Those are very edgy. I'm getting some edgy vibes from you, Silent, with the what was this? Mourns in Silence, your Argonian name, and now your Hellraiser stuff. You were like a goth in high school, weren't you? I tease, but sounds like you like the edgy stuff. Talk to Me is good. Made by YouTube, huh? Did not know that. All right, so here is collects many things. She's looking very thiefy, very good in the Thieves Guild stuff. And this was one of my main goals I had from the beginning. Is like, okay, I have to establish my sneak and my archery skill because eventually I'm gonna have to kill something, and I'm gonna need to be able to back up on these sneak archer skills for when I do have to kill something. But for the most part, we're leaning into the thief stuff, and it's hard to do worse than, or it's hard to do better than the standard Thieves Guild armor you get just for collecting the protection fees from the denizens of Riften, right? You get a boost to lockpicking, you get a boost to prices when you're actually fencing stuff, you get a boost to pickpocket, which is extremely important early in the game. And then carrying capacity, of course, you gotta be able to carry all your loot, right? One thing that I would like to have on an enchantment is something like a muffle effect, but we can easily get that in the in the sneak tree, and I've already taken that. So we do have the infiltrator perk now, which is 75% less noise while you're sneaking. I got the second rank in sneak mastery, so we should be very, very sneaky. That'll get us started. Eventually, we're gonna want to take sneak attack and you know, cloak and dagger. And we're probably gonna want some stuff from the archery tree, eagle eye. So that was another thing that I saw. People asking me how I was going to handle melee combat with the thief. And I didn't give you a straight answer on that, but I think that I did demonstrate that I was both comfortable and capable of combat archery at very close ranges, which is something that I have done a lot of practice on, and I do really enjoy that style of gameplay. If you haven't played it and your machine is capable of higher frame rates, it's a lot of fun, especially if you have like a dodge roll. But just having a quick bash, the dodge roll helps. Realizing that you don't have to pull your bow, you don't have to draw your bow all the way to get off a damaging shot. There were some pretty hairy situations with wolves that I actually didn't break a sweat in. So that is my answer to the melee thing, is that I am just not going to do melee. The moment that it clicked for me why archery is a thief skill is when in Oblivion Thieves Guild finale you had to shoot a key arrow into a lock. Boom, that was an epic moment, right? Yeah, it's archery. The thief is kind of a pure sneak archer in terms of killing things. It's just the stuff that goes around it that fills out why it's a thief instead of an assassin or an acrobat or what was the other one? An agent, I guess. A monk. They're all sneak archers. It's just the stuff that goes in around it. Are you going to get the Bow of Shadows? Absolutely will. That's a little above my pay grade at the moment because that guy that has the Bow of Shadows is kind of tough. He's an unleveled enemy, so if you go in at too low a level, he's going to be almost impossible to kill. Because you're not going to be able to do enough damage to him. Probably want to procure a paralysis poison for that at some point too. So for the rest of the gear that I have, I've been busy with this guy, or with this chick, guys, chicks, ladies, lads, lasses. Back in my day, we called them chicks. I don't know why. They're not birds, right? Yes, the Bow of Shadows is the best bow in the game. Coitus with an Argonian feels like it would be similar to being with a Klingon. Exciting, but doubt I'd survive. Yeah. Fair. I did find an amulet of Kinnereth. Not that Argonians know anything or want anything to do with Kinnereth, but it does give me an extra 10 stamina points, which in Wildcat is very important, especially for an archer. You're going to be spending stamina the whole time you're pulling back this bow. And then also, when you get Eagle Eye later on with a slow time effect, you're going to want the stamina because that drains stamina even faster. And then also the dodge rolling is kind of our primary means of defense if stealth fails anyway. And then I use Hunterborn to create a Thorned Bone Ring, which does 8% more damage with the bows. And then, of course, all the Thieves Guild stuff. At some point I will need to do the or at least unlock the Dark Brotherhood questline stuff, and I don't know how canon that's going to be for this character, but that will unlock the light armor trainer and other things. There's a Marked for Death shout, right? Ooh, I want to see something actually. There's a lot of ghosting and blurring going on back there. I wonder if that's the DLAA stuff. Let me see here. This will be a good time to demonstrate how to change this too. So if I go back from DLAA to TAA, the image did shift briefly as it kind of disabled DLAA and enabled TAA. Now am I getting the ghosting over here with the bow in the background? Oh, now that I did that, now he's just stopped. Let's wait for him to pick that back up again. That's one thing about DLSS. If the game isn't tuned for it, like if you're using lossless scaling or something for DLSS, you're going to get a lot of weird ghosting and stuff, because if the game wasn't designed for it, things like Cyberpunk and newer games like Starfield, and then, you know, any other AAA game that includes DLSS, if it's not tuned for DLSS, it's going to have the ghosting. It's going to have those artifacts on it. DLAA I thought was a little different, but maybe it's just anything with the AI driven reshading. That guy is not moving. The second that I switch that over to TA, oh, here we go. Yeah, no more ghosting. So it looks like DLAA needs some work. Maybe I'm not recommending it anymore. Motion still looks good, especially with the depth of field on the reshade here. Yeah, no, TAA is still better, I think. I don't know. Do you worship the Hist? I don't worship anything yet. I'm still trying to make up my mind. I have never worshipped the Hist before, so I am going to look into it. I don't know how to worship the Hist in this game, though. Is there like a Hist tree? Is it maybe the sleeping tree or something that you worship? How do you unlock the Hist in this game? Or in Winter Sun? Something tells me if one tried to lift her tail, they'd lose a hand. If they're lucky. Yes, if they're lucky. If she's quick enough. Guess I didn't notice the ghosting you were seeing. Okay, let's okay, I can point it out better in YouTube. Let's take a look at the replay here. Sorry, I'm belching right in your ear. Ooh, that monster's getting me. All right. So we'll do it. Oh, wow, this is terrible. Let me, how am I only getting 480p quality here? I am outputting at 1080p 30. Well, you're not going to see the ghosting here. You're just not going to see it. Maybe it just hasn't loaded for me yet. Yeah. Well, sorry. Anyway, it was back here, the guy that was doing the target practice, as he was pulling out an arrow and his bow would go up as he would draw back, and then it would kind of come down. I was seeing all kinds of ghosting between the between each frame of the bow draw on that, and it was pretty obvious to me. But if you didn't know where to look, which I don't use a mouse cursor, I use a controller in games, so it was going to be harder to see. But yeah, it was pretty obvious for me. Once you activate Sleeping Tree at the Giants camp, then you just pray outside afterwards. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into what the Hist gives me and what else I'm going to do. I mean, so the other options here are obviously Nocturnal would be a good one. I don't know what else. Are there any others? I'm not really into the religion stuff just yet. I haven't done my homework on it. It is the tree. Okay. New version lets you choose your DLAA. Oh, interesting. There's a new version. I just downloaded this like yesterday or the day before. Yeah, now that I pointed it out, Joe, it's fairly obvious if you know where to look. Are you any good at pickpocketing? Then Nocturnal is a good pick. Yeah, maybe we'll go Nocturnal. The thing is, I want a lot of this stuff, a lot of the tension from Thief play is going to be wrapped around pickpocketing and whether or not that's actually going to succeed. So I don't want to get to 100% too soon. In fact, I'm going to go look right now. Artful Dodger. Current pickpocket cap is at 93. Cap at skill 0 is at 89. Cap at skill 100 is at 99. In fact, I might do 98. I don't want to go all the way to 100 on this because that would completely release all of the tension in the entire playthrough. You would never have any tension, never be scared at all to pickpocket anybody at any time for any reason. And that does kind of tie into a power fantasy that you would have for being the best thief of all time, right? But that's kind of not how I want to play this one, because in my opinion, once I get to that point where I can pickpocket anything at any time, then the playthrough's over. It's done, right? There's not really much of a reason to play anymore at that point. So I want there to be like a small chance. I don't know if it's 99. I don't know if it's 98. I don't know if it's 97. I want there to be a small chance that there's going to be a chase. Otherwise, you don't have to, plot out your escape routes. You don't have to case a joint to see when the best time is to rob someone, which is where all the fun comes in for me. Okay, good. I probably just wasn't done buffering back to that point because I had it paused for so long. Glad to see that everything's coming in at 1080p. And I don't have any dropped frames, so we're good. The replay may have had a delay in render quality. Yeah, for sure. Doodles put out several updates and fixes already. All right, they're working fast. That's good. Boost to all attributes depending on your favor. I see. I worshipped the hiss starting out, then once I became the listener, switched to Sithis. Yeah, the way that I handle my new starts here is I have a generic character that every single character starts off as, and then I use Skyrim Unbound to get to the character creation screen, so that I never even get that, or I'm past the Winter Sun deity selection point when I start the character, which is kind of how I like it, because I want to go find the deity instead of just starting with it. There are ways to roleplay both situations. Yeah, so right over here you see this guy fire in this arrow. There is no ghosting, no trailing or anything, but if Doodles has put out an update that helps with the ghosting, then that would be great. I'll have to relook at it again. But now I know where to come to see, to test this thing out and what to look for. Okay. In any case, right now, you have to look at it under a microscope to see a difference, but if I'm getting a net gain on it and the game is stabler and faster, then I'm going to run it. Oh, and I forgot to talk about, I did buy some orcish arrows, so we're going to get some more damage with the bow. Don't have a ton of those arrows. Did find some fire arrows in the last stream. Dwarven arrows, was able to find some of those laying around in just guild chests in the cistern here. And then have a bunch of steel arrows, and then I did go through and I just crafted a shit ton of iron arrows, so we will never ever run out of arrows. They might be crappy arrows, but we'll always have them, and since that's our only means of offensive output, that's going to be we're going to need something at all times, so that's good. And then Tonelia actually had a Valenwood warbow for sale at this low level. And this is a great item added by Immersive Weapons. It doesn't do a ton of damage here at 17. Once we level up and kind of temper this thing up a little bit, it'll be better. But why I love this bow so much is because of the draw speed. It's super fast. This is right up there with Zephyr, maybe not quite as fast. And definitely probably not as fast as the Bow of Shadows, but at what level are we at right now? Level 10. This is a fantastic weapon to have, especially if this is the only way we can cause damage. We need to be able to get those arrows out there quick. So this is one of my favorite bows in that collection for that reason. It's a very quick draw speed. Okay. Any other questions? That's what I use cork bulb with BOS, Bow of Shadows. Yeah, so I do have some cork bulb arrows here too. In the AE edition, the anniversary edition. These, you can find these at, I think the Khajiit caravans or whatever. That might be part of the rare curios, one of the better additions to the game, in my opinion. And these have a paralysis effect, but in my experience, it's a very weak paralysis effect because so many enemies just resist it right away, right? Is that way better than Zephyr? I would have to do a side-to-side comparison, but... What's the mod that reversed the weapon placement for warhammers and battle axes? It turns them around. Oh, you're talking about in the sheath position? The bow right now, how it's kind of like twisted so that it's over the shoulder. That is XPMSE. Zephyr thought it was quicker than Shadowbow. No, Shadowbow is quicker than Zephyr. I think lore-wise, Zephyr should be faster. At least in terms of the vanilla descriptions of everything. But the Bow of Shadows is definitely noticeably faster than Zephyr. Yeah, we'll be getting the Bow of Shadows here soon because without access to illusion magic, being able to have access to an invisibility effect without having to either craft a bunch of potions or buy a bunch of them is very valuable. Yeah, in the sheath position. Yeah, that's probably all XPMSE, and once we get past this loading screen here, I'll show you how that works. This has been around for a long time, especially in LE. XPMSE. And then you go into the styles submenu here, and then for each weapon you have a drop down. You can do the axes on the back or reversed axe, going default for all that, and then you can pick your left or your right hand side, and then you also have the same options for NPCs, and this will give you like your own kind of individual style to set your character apart from the rest of the NPCs in the game too. And then this is where you have like the daggers on the hips, on the back, like the lower back. You have the daggers crossed like over your butt area kind of a little bit. You can actually put the daggers on the ankles, which doesn't work as well in practice. It sounds like an awesome idea, but daggers in this game are so freaking big that they oftentimes the tip of the dagger goes beyond the bottom of the foot, so it looks like you're just stabbing the ground every time you take a step. But dagger on back hip is a really cool way to set yourself apart from the rest of the NPCs, not just having it in the regular sheath position. Then you have styles for shields, great swords, axes, warhammers. This is probably the one you're looking for. You can edge up at the waist, so it's kind of like in a quiver, where the quiver is on Cole here right now, is where your warhammer would be in that situation. That's probably the mod you want. Yeah, very cool. Hybrid Avenger, welcome, buddy. Hope you're doing well. If you're gonna go Nocturnal, the Bow of Shadows is a must-get as it's her artifact. Yes, very cool. And that's kind of why I was leaning toward Nocturnal over the Hist right now. I will look into the Hist, and I'm gonna let that kind of percolate and ruminate in my brain for a while, but I think the main two right now are Hist and Nocturnal. I've used Nocturnal before for my Shadow Mage, my Shadow Ninja, and I like the aspects as far as the Thief is concerned there. Some really cool stuff if you want to lean into the pickpocketing side of things. So that's kind of where I'm leaning, and because the Thieves Guild is kind of like the family that she never had, and her kind of sense of belonging, I can see collects many things falling in line with Nocturnal and the Nightingales and stuff like that as her sort of quote-unquote calling. And she is an orphan. She was living on her own for a very long time. I'm picturing collects many things. She's not quite an adult yet. I would say she's probably like 14, 15, 16. at this point. And how they say, like, black don't crack. Argonians are born cracked, so it's really hard to tell what their ages are. So yeah, I think we're dealing with you know, mid-teens here for collects many things. She's just coming into her own as an adult, trying to find her own way in the world. And right now she's making her transition from prey to predator, I would say. She's coming into her own as a hunter, and kind of leaving the life of meekness and timidness behind. But that life of meekness and timidness kind of gave her a good foundation of sneakiness and stealth and subterfuge and being able to hear and see things that she shouldn't be allowed to hear and see, and that's going to give her a strong foundation of you know, being able to get and do things that she wouldn't otherwise be able or allowed to do or get. So that's good. Oh, I've also fixed the female idol animations now too. So remember before they were kind of like standing to the side and looking way off. That was the default choice that the Nulvis guide had you pick, and to me that was always really aggravating. And since I very rarely play female characters, it never really bothered me too much. But I've changed this one over to something a little more natural, a little more head-on. So now the head actually moves in the way that it should based on which way the body's facing. Still the same mod. Oh,
I've been
hey there,
looking
Vander.
for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver.
Rebellious teen lizard. Yes, indeed.
Let's see.
We've all been there. We've all had our
Looks like
rebellious
that's it.
teen lizard
Gotta go.
years, right? She's 19. Great name for her. Collects many things. Yeah, and I've shortened that because that's too many syllables to say every single time, right? So I've shortened that to Cole for collects Cole. I think that's kind of like a cool. I can see the other members, once they get to knowing her, the other members of the Thieves Guild giving her the nickname of Cole. Wonder if Couch Warrior ever pops in here every now and then. He would pop into a stream or two years ago. Maybe not even that long ago. Maybe just like a year or two ago. But I don't know. I kind of feel like he's moved on completely from Skyrim. Is the feeling that I get. He's pretty much dived full on headfirst into the music writing business, or not business, but that's where all his creative energies go now. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't really even play Skyrim anymore, honestly. Checked out. Give me just a second here. I don't know if I'm just picking up a bunch of non sequiturs or if my chat is in. Yeah, my chat might have been in not a good order. Yeah, Couch might have checked out. Thanks, Karn. After offering several innuendos, you pull out this. She's probably 14. Now I feel unclean. That's amazing. Yeah, well, no, I've never seen any kind of sexual identity for this character, honestly. My other characters, definitely, they do. But for whatever reason, I just... The sexuality of this character just never even popped into my head. And that's probably because in my mind, she was always like super young, right? Oh, that wasn't for this chat? Okay. I know you're melting over there, Wind. I don't blame you. That's amazing. That's a good laugh to start the weekend. Thanks, Joe. Your shame is my pleasure. Okay, so we have the Golden Glow job coming up, and I've done this one probably a couple dozen, 100 times. So there's a very specific route that I usually take through all of this stuff, and it's usually low drama. But with a young character, both in terms of level and age, we're going to try to be very tactical about it. The night out here is beautiful. There's a lot of visibility without too much light, I suppose, so that might be ideal for us. Oh, I also do have a necklace of Night Eye that I have added to my favorites menu, so I can throw this on instead of the amulet of Kinnereth to add a Night Eye effect. But tonight we don't need it. The sky is actually very bright for it being almost midnight. Okay. I don't know. It's as good for visibility for staking the place out over here. We're gonna do our best to see what kind of patrols we're dealing with. Maybe potential. Is this a hideout? It is. Oh no, this is part of Skyrim sewers. There's a rabbit. I don't want to make a scene right now. I'm supposed to be staking this place out. I hear battle noises over here. There was some kind of patrol. Looks like they're fighting a wolf. The hell is that thing out there? Yeah, they got it taken care of. Okay. There is a hidden hideout somewhere around here. I don't know exactly where it is now. We'll find it eventually. Yeah, so let's see. The visibility, not good for sneaking, but is good for scouting. So let's see here if we can get a feel. Uh-oh, I see some lightning out there in the distance. The visibility thing is about to change. Well, if the visibility is so bad with the fog and the rain here, then this is gonna let us kind of sneak around here with a little more impunity. Be a little more confident about where we go and how we get there. And then we can use our other senses, such as our senses of hearing and senses of smell, to kind of scout the area. Just instead of scouting it from a distance, we'll be scouting it up close. And as long as we're slow and steady, we should be okay. Now we have a building over here. This looks like the main farmhouse of the estate, but there looks to be like a little bit of a cliff wall. Hard to get to, so I'm trying to... Ooh, canister, I'll take that. So I'm trying to find an area where I can easily kind of sneak up onto the land like an alligator. This doesn't look too bad. Okay, and here's that well entrance that that Vex told us about. Probably try to get out of the light over here. This does look like a lookout area. But I don't see anybody patrolling the deck over here. And our sneak skill is good enough that as long as we don't move, we can get really close to someone without triggering detection. Our sneak skill is good. We are moderately thirsty and mildly hungry. We can take care of that. And this is nice too. Amphibious skin is awesome as an Argonian from Imperius. You do get a buff to your sneaking, 100% better sneaking for 60 seconds just by being in water. That's awesome. Let me see. Flame magic isn't very thief. Also classic classes. Hold on, let me see. Lot of chat going on here while I'm trying to focus on the game. That's my fault, not yours. Trying to get my cursor over here. There we are. Do you have a torch for the beehives? I do indeed, but there are also torches around the estate that you can find if you don't have them. That's very convenient. It's all good, Karn. You have normal thoughts. It's not the first time I've heard that, Karn. I don't know how normal my thoughts are, but at least they're not creepy most times. A couple thousand times, maybe. There you go. Do you have a torch for the beehives? Yes, I do. You can use the flame magic. I don't have flame. The alternate start mod that I use, Skyrim Unbound, it lets you choose which spells to start off with, or start off with none. And I always start off with none because the classic classes and burst signs mod will give you spells to start with whatever class you pick. And for the thief, it doesn't give you any spells, and you shouldn't have any spells. So I don't have flames, and I don't have healing, which are the two that you usually start off with every character. Flame magic isn't very thief. Also, classic classes would have taken it away. There you go. I need that mod. That's perfect for thieves and assassins. Yes, classic classes and burst signs. I don't think that there's anything SKSE specific about it, so you might be able to find it on console if that's what you're playing. I'm using the reimagined version. It's just a little more compatible with pretty much everything because it adds buffs to your skills instead of just adding new levels to your skills. So it doesn't mess with progressions or anything like that. It just makes the skills better. And no, CW doesn't really play much anymore, not any games. He plays D&D and spends a lot of energy on his music endeavors. He may play video games with his son, but otherwise they aren't his focus. Yeah, it kind of feels like he moved on. And that's fine. He seems like a very creative person, but he also needs to like jump around a lot to keep his interest levels up, and he's all about that music right now. The music's pretty good. I've used it in a couple of my videos as ambient. It's really good as ambient music. And he's open permissions on that to anybody who wanted to listen and share with his in his Discord. So I've been using it. Good stuff. You don't have to activate the magic; just needs to be in your hands. But if classic classes took it away, then yeah, torch is needed. But you can grab one on Golden Glow item. Yes, you can. As long as Stu is okay. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, he's been posting in the Discord about he posts his music, and I think I'm subscribed to his music channel on my YouTube Music app and stuff, and it's good stuff. And honestly, if he did log into a game stream, he'd probably be in lurk mode and not say anything. He kind of likes to stay on the down low. No problem with that. I love swimming with the Argonian, sneaking up out of the water like a monster. Hell yeah, like a Lovecraftian creature for sure. Need Aura Whisper? Yeah, I use it all the time, but I roleplay my Shadow Scale blind. How dare you try to play? Sewers mod, yes. I do have the Sewers mod in there right now. Okay. I don't have Aura Whisper, but I do have the Campfire Instincts, and that's almost as good, and you can upgrade it as long as you feel like doing the campfire-y things. So along with the Infiltrator Muffle effect, and the different sneak bonuses that I'm getting from Amphibious Skin. Let's see, the Thief, Shadow Birth Sign, the Thief's Path, and I thought there was something else that I got going on here too. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm very, very sneaky at a low level, which makes things better, but I don't want that to lead to a false sense of complacency here. Looking for a way into the farmhouse. So I don't need the underground tunnels there, but there are some reasons to go down there anyway. It could eventually give me a much needed escape path if things get hairy. So I feel like just making sure that I'm casing the whole area here is going to be the wise bet. Get the lay of the land here. I might need these tunnels later on, even though I don't need it right now. So let's go see what's going on over here. The only problem is Markarth, the sewer mod, doesn't have a good way in. It has a couple ways in that I've found, but they're they're very long and windy, and you kind of have to go through a labyrinth to find your way into the cities. Which is going to be a big part of this playthrough, honestly, is mapping out the sewers. Make sure our escape routes are clear of all creepy critters here. Oh, there's another one. Another opportunity for more thief skill. Okay, let's go a little bit more slowly. Make sure I'm making liberal use of this instincts. Argonians do have heightened senses, especially in terms of smells. I think somebody was saying last stream that they can feel the script strain on Hunterborn, but I feel like I got it set up to where it's like it's pretty responsive. That's like the big reason that people don't use Hunterborn is like the script load on it. And that's fair. If you're running a lot of other script-heavy mods, then yeah, you might have trouble with Hunterborn stepping on toes or vice versa. But I haven't really noticed too much script lag in my game. And maybe that's just because I'm used to it, but it all feels pretty responsive to me. I'm not using the TK Dodge, the FNIS version of TK Dodge anymore. That's the Nemesis version, so that's lag-free. Used to be that would lag on me. And the dodge mod is the last thing that you want lagging on you, right? So switching over to Nemesis was a huge improvement in that regard. There's another skeever over there too. You coming? Shot him in the ass. Okay. So, there are gameplay reasons, progression reasons to come down here for a thief. You do get some good lockpicking skills. There is a lockpicking, I think this is lockpicking. There's a lockpicking skill book. We're going to be saving that for later when we get to level 90 on some of these skills. We can come back with the Scholar's Insight Black Book passive and cap that out to 100. Otherwise, we'll be spending money on training. Get these skills up. But yeah, there are some things to unlock here for a low-level thief. You get your lockpicking skill up pretty good. Okay, there don't seem to be any patrols down here. Now, okay, of course, as a player who has played 4,400 hours in Skyrim, I know that there are no patrols down here. But Cole doesn't. To me, one of the biggest challenges of role-playing in Skyrim after you already have thousands and thousands of hours in the game is, yeah, you're really good at the game, but it's really hard to put yourself in to the headspace of a character who doesn't know the land, the lay of the land, the specifics of each point of interest as well as you do. But it's rewarding if you can manage to do it. So my goal here is to approach the infiltration of Golden Glow Estate as if this character has never seen this place before. I want to see something. I saw Magus messing with the ENB settings on rain in his stream, and I want to see if I can add more visibility to this game by tweaking the effects. I don't even know where the effect is on this. I thought it was somewhere over here and you could just check rain on or off, but I don't seem to have that. Let's just see if I turn ENB off. Yeah, that definitely doesn't help. This makes everything super dark. Any effects? Sun rays, water, reflection, wet surfaces, underwater shader. Don't see anything for rain. Maybe it's a newer feature in a newer version of ENB that I'm not running. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, so that's the thing, Magus. I don't have a rain section. What version of ENB am I running? Probably a 4-year-old version because I haven't been updating. If it's not broke, I don't fix it. So that would be my answer, I think. But either way, I'm not running. It sounds like I'm not running ENB rain anyway. This is just the crazy Novus rain. Dude, update. Tyree Gills, welcome, buddy. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's take a look at the lay of the land over here. We got another little isle over here. Islet. Oh, we got a patrol right there. Now, this whole time, I'm keeping an eye out for where the water is, because the water is my escape route as an Argonian, right? If I get detected, I am running and jumping off of the edge of this island right into the water, and I'm swimming for Riften. And I'm gonna come back later when they're not looking for me anymore. Okay, they're walking away now. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay, now as far as order of operations here, we're gonna infiltrate the farmhouse first. Once we kind of get the lay of the land over here, we still want to find these beehives though. The beehives will take on last, because anything that you light on fire is going to draw attention. Okay, there's a bridge over there, but that guy is really patrolling that bridge heavily. All right, and there is another guy over here. We go slow enough though and try to stay out of the light. He's not gonna see us. I think he's facing the other way now, so now is our opportunity. So to avoid that guy patrolling that bridge over there, I want to attack it from a different angle. Okay, he just turned back over. Look the other way, so we'll keep on over here. What this is also going to do is this is going to identify a path of least resistance between the farmhouse and the beehives. So once we're done in the farmhouse, we're going to come over here to the beehives. Looks like at least there is a hole in the patrol on this bridge that we can exploit. We just have to pick the time, pick the right time. And here we go. Here are the beehives over here. So that is the path of least resistance right there, that little bridge. And I think that there is a patrol that goes between the beehive island and the farmhouse island over here. We just have to pick the right time to do it. And hopefully this weather, this terrible weather, will hold while we're in the farmhouse. If not, then the patrols are going to have an easier time seeing us. But okay. I think we got the lay of the land. We have the place staked out. We have the tunnels to go hide into if we need to break line of sight. We have the waterway here that we can hightail it back to Riften if we need to. I think we're good. As an Argonian, this is ideal for us because this whole place is surrounded by water, and we have a huge advantage in water over every other race in the game. So the front door seemed very populated, but nobody is guarding this back door. That rain is busted though, either super heavy or nothing. Oh, the ENB rain. This is just always, this is never nothing at all. This is the way that the weather mods I'm running. It's always super heavy. At least it's consistent. It can be a fine line though. Not fixing what's broken isn't the same as improving what already works. That's a fair point. Not fixing what isn't broken is also called technical debt in the engineering world. There is such a thing of having to keep up with industry standards and things like that. And the farther you put it off, the more pain you're going to have when you do eventually have to update something. Skyrim is not that though. I think the analogy holds to a certain degree, but I am not going to overhaul my Skyrim until I have to, and at that point I'll get the newest stuff anyway. But for right now, I have a ton of characters that are already in progress, and then changing things like binaries has had bad effects for me in the past. I'm not about to do it again. I will upgrade eventually, but I don't need to right now. It's official, Karn likes heavy rain. Oh man. That game, I played that game on PS3, Heavy Rain. I don't know if that's what you're referring to or not, but I can definitely use some of this stuff. Pickpocketing, yes please. I don't care if it's stolen, I can use that shit. It's a good story with some very frustrating moments, both in terms of writing and in terms, especially in terms of gameplay. That game played clunkier than any other game I've ever played in my life. And that game wasn't about the gameplay, it was more about the narrative, the branching narrative, different choices that you make and everything. I platinumed that game on PS3. I was back in a phase where I felt like if I wasn't platinuming every game, I wasn't getting my money's worth. Boy, have I changed my tune since then. Okay, don't like being in the light here, so let's try to quicken the pace. Oh crap. We do have a guy patrolling this area over here. I need to keep my options open over here, so I'm gonna open up every line of every escape route that I can and make sure that I'm keeping track of where I am and where I'm going. Okay, so here's the basement. I didn't see an entrance directly into the basement, but there was that hole in the ceiling of the undercroft area. A couple guys in the corner over there. Blinding snow too, yes indeed. I don't really like it. In one of my future profiles, I'm going to see what's going on with that. There are a lot of consistency patches and stuff for Novice, so it's never as easy as just removing or disabling a mod for a new playthrough. There might be something relying on that weather in another consistency patch or something else somewhere else that I'll need to remove also. Okay, there's another dude there. So this is going to be rough. Let's see if I can do it this way. See if I can get him looking for something over in that corner while I head down into the basement. Here we go.
I guess I was just hearing things.
Your mom was just hearing things. So this is going to shortcut the whole upstairs area, but she wants to make sure there's no intelligence or valuables to be gathered up there either. And I do want to get the bee in the jar, and I want to get that the golden bee statue as well. I wouldn't have named this character collects many things if I didn't want to collect many things. So we're going to be getting all the collectibles. Golden Glow bill of sale. This document acknowledges the sale of Golden Glow Estate and all property, assets, and materials contained within. Payment of the property has been made in full by Gajal I as an agent on. That's an Argonian name. She recognizes that on behalf of the buyer. All dealings with the Thieves Guild in Riften are to cease immediately to deter any possible retribution for this act. You are to take immediate steps to protect our assets in any way you see fit. I think you'll find that the Thieves Guild is far more bark than bite and will likely avoid Golden Glow Estate rather than thin their already dwindling numbers. Good luck, and may this be the start of a long and lucrative partnership. Okay, so a couple things happening here. They're bypassing Maven and trying to cut her out of the deal to buy this place. So both the partner gets to benefit from owning, one of the major bee farms in the area, one of the major honey farms in the area. Maven doesn't get the cut, so they get more for themselves. And the Thieves Guild is being bypassed as well as sort of the attack dog of Maven Blackbriar. But there is some... It does seem a little like they're attacking the Thieves Guild as much as they are just trying to make money. So there is something a little bit personal here. And we have an Argonian agent here. That is an Ansalil name that Cole recognizes. Doesn't recognize the person. She doesn't know anyone by that name personally. But she does recognize it as an Argonian name. Golden Glow Estate Sewer. Okay, so this is the entrance that Vex tipped us off to. Problem is that old Novice Guide Rain is terrible, especially to watch as a viewer. Yeah, I know. I need to fix it. I'm not about to reinstall Skyrim. I'm not you, Magus. I can't get a new mod list up and running in a couple days. I don't have that kind of time. Like I said earlier when I was talking about Shattered Space, I only have like 1 to 3 hours to play a day, and depending on how my workday went, I might need to decompress with a video game. If that's spent working on a mod list, then I'm going to be a wreck. I don't want that. So I'll have to do it when the time is right. But I am pretty confident that I can go through and change out the rain for something else. Like I said, I just need to be careful about consistency patches and stuff. It's worth the time. I'll probably do it after the thief character and before the next one. Is what I'm thinking. Oh shit. All right. Nope. There's that guy standing right there. He must be playing pocket pool or something because... Now, if I had the bow of shadows, I could just turn invisible here. The problem is I need to get over that way. I can't fire an arrow this way again to get him to come over here. And I don't want to be completely pacifist, but I don't want to alert everybody else. If he yells, if I can't take him out in one shot, he's going to yell and alert everybody else. Let's see. So how can I do this? I do have some invisibility potions. I think I have 2 or 3. Extended invisibility. Maybe I only have the 1. Oh, I do have 2. I hate to spend it right here, though. All right. I guess I can escape back out this way if things get hairy. Let's see. I'm in the shadow right now. If I can just really quick... Okay. I think we're good. All right. So we have our exit route over here if we need it. Better than going out the front door. For sure. But that also takes us out of our way in relation to... No, I don't want to sit. God damn it. Third person selection is a great mod, but at times it just... does things that I don't want it to do. I'm the wrong way anyway. Jesus, dark. Okay. Hell am I going here? Night Eye was a good call. Hey, there's Caladran. Welcome, welcome. And Seth Angel, welcome. Definitely need to redo my setup, but I'm too impatient to do it right. Yeah, the patience isn't my problem with it. It's really just the time. And I would much rather play Skyrim than mod Skyrim. And with the time I have available, I can pick one or the other. And I choose to play. And right now, nothing is broken. The rain does suck as a viewer, but it is immersive. And it does create tactical challenges. He's coming back over here. So he doesn't see an open door that was left closed before. Here we go. Let's go see what's going on upstairs here. I accidentally sit in chairs all the flipping time. Yeah. Hey, and there's P. Miller. Welcome, welcome. We got a party going now, guys. Let's get to the next shadow. Nobody too close. Okay, there is a guy standing up against the wall there. I guess we didn't sense him, but that's okay. We saw him early enough. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing pretty well. I'm typically a hermit, but I've been pretty social lately. Went to a comedy club with some friends slash coworkers last night. Had a good time with the stand-up there. It was Ian Bagg. He's not much of like the storyteller stand-up type. He's more of, he just kind of interacts with the audience and, you know, makes fun of people in the audience. Kind of like Reggie from The Nutty Professor, but not as offensive. He kind of just does off-the-cuff stuff. It was pretty funny. I think I prefer the traditional stand-up experience better, though. But it was still a good time. And then after the stream here today, I am going to go get my flu and COVID shots for the year. And then after that, we're going to a game night with some other friends. Friends that I have known since I was in high school. And we haven't seen them in a while. So the wife and I are going to go play some games with them. Board games. Probably not too many video games there, even though we have done that as well. Okay, I have no need to pickpocket this guy, even though that would be a lot of tense. This would be absolutely the worst tactical place to pickpocket anybody. Let's see if I can actually... He hasn't seen me yet, even though I am in the bright candlelight here. More COVID shots? You should be good, but it needs to be updated every year. I'd rather be safe than sorry. They give them out with the flu shots every year because COVID has more in common with the cold than it does with other viruses like the measles or mumps or whatever that you get a vaccination for once in your life and you're good. It mutates constantly, so you do need to update it. At this point, I mean, we have medications and stuff out there. You're probably good. If you don't want to take the vaccine, then don't take it. You don't have to. It was more important back in the day when people did not have a means of protecting themselves, like the protective equipment, like the masks and everything, were all sold out everywhere, and people were wearing T-shirts over their mouths. You kind of had to stop it at the source, and that's when the vaccines were more important. But now we got like those Paxlovid pills and everything, and most of the variants that are coming out now are more mild, and we have ways of treating it, and the hospitals aren't all overloaded like they were before. So yeah, if you don't want to take it, don't, it's not really necessary anymore. But I do get a cold shot and a flu shot, and if you're taking those, you may as well take the COVID shot at the same time. It basically does the same thing. I don't have any political feelings about it one way or another, which people who object to it probably usually have political leanings or whatever, but I don't. And at this point, I don't really care as much anyway. Okay, let's see here. I think the closer way out of here would be just to take a direct route back out the back door again. You get the flu or COVID anyway. Yeah, it's not an exact science, but either one will actually reduce your symptoms. I still get a cold or a flu, but it's never as bad as it was before I started taking the shots. And with insurance, they're free anyway, so I guess we'll just do it. I do find that I get sick far less than I did before I was taking the shots. And the couple times that I've gotten COVID since I've taken the vaccines, it's been extremely mild. Like, not bad at all. It's almost like less than an actual cold. It's been like a non-issue. But I've had like colds and stuff that have lasted for like 5 weeks with like the sore throat and everything. And at that point, it's probably like strep or some other kind of infection, but I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Oh, I drink out of the water hose too. Water is dirtier now than it was back then, though. For me now, if I had to drink out of the hose, I probably wouldn't be terrified if I had to do it once or twice, but if I had to do it all the time, I'd be afraid of what might happen to my guts. The water here, municipal water in the Phoenix area has always been very bad, though. Very heavy in terms of like minerals and stuff like that. Hey, here we go. We got completely unpronounceable name just subscribed. Well, thanks. I'm sorry I can't read your name, but thanks for joining. Yeah, Magus, that's probably the best bet. I mean, I don't feel uncomfortable with where things are right now, but these things turn into slippery slopes real quick these days. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like I said, and I'm not going to judge you if you want to take the shot or you don't want to take the shot, whatever. Now we have means of protecting ourselves. We didn't before. We do now. All good. We can be friends again. Okay. So there we go. Job's done. Where am I going? I'm pointing south. You know they're going to come running when they see the beehives up there, so we're going to make our exit now. I just need to get my bearings. South is going to put us on the other side of the lake, and then if we turn left from here, we're in Argonian, so let's just freaking swim all the way to the east, to the Riften docks. Did I come in a bad time? No, we're good. We're good, unless you're triggered by COVID. I think we're fine. I've moved past the contentious COVID phase. I mean, if somebody else is uncomfortable, we can stop talking about it, but I think it is what it is now. I'm comfortable letting it lie. Yeah, it depends on where you are in the country. Oh, Magus will judge you. I'll only judge you if you think Starfield is better than Skyrim, then I think you're nuts.
Someone do something!
I won't even judge you for that, but I do think that Skyrim is better than Starfield. Why are you killing? What the hell did I do to you?
I cannot
I'm just a young Argonian in a scary place over here. I'm part of the Thieves Guild, obviously. Look what I'm wearing. You damn nut.
Don't hurt me.
Stop, thief!
Are you talking to me? Or is there another one? Wow, are there two thieves out here? Well, you know, if nobody's looking, I'll take all this stolen contraband.
Stop, thief!
You dirty thief.
I will say that at launch pricing at $60, brand new, Starfield, it has more in it than Skyrim did at launch. There's more to do in Starfield than there is in Skyrim. The shooting mechanics, the gameplay is better. Graphics obviously better, but Skyrim has that magic, right? Skyrim it's captured the hearts and imaginations of people all across the world. And people are still playing it now. A lot of people are still playing it now. Even the vanilla game. So if you like Starfield better, I probably wouldn't say you're nuts or crazy, because I do see the value propositions there. I do see the improvements, things that Starfield did better than Skyrim. I don't see it as an all or nothing thing. But I will concede the fact that probably people who have played both extensively far more people will prefer Skyrim to Starfield. Oh, okay, here we go. And that's probably more contentious saying that than anything about the COVID shot. That's why I love upgrading. Yeah, that was quick, right? You just hop in the water and swim all the way to Riften, and it was like a complete non-issue. It beats having to fight like 17,000 bears on your way back to the town. Only gets better when you show up. That's right, Joe. We all love Caladran here. You think you're joking? We're not joking. We all love Caladran. So many people playing vanilla Skyrim on Twitch. I think, okay, so yeah, for a lot of us veterans, right? Mods make this game worth playing for thousands and thousands of hours, right? I wouldn't be playing the vanilla version for thousands of hours. Vanilla Skyrim was just not that kind of, there's not enough there to hold my interest for that long. Hundreds of hours, sure, maybe 1,000 of hours, yeah, but maybe not even 1,000 hours, hundreds of hours, probably. But mods is where it's at. But I don't think a lot of people where modded Skyrim is like the normal, like this is the way to play Skyrim. We don't always realize that it's as niche as it is. There are a bunch of technical hurdles to be able to clear in order to play a game like we're playing. Is heavily customized and upgraded as we're playing it. And for us, it becomes second nature, right? But it's easy to forget just how complicated it is to start. So when you see a bunch of players on Twitch playing vanilla Skyrim, you got to realize that they're playing a bunch of other games too. They're playing vanilla Skyrim because that's what you install on Steam. And they see that Skyrim is still like alive after all these years, and it's like, okay, there's this classic game that has some really cool fantasy RPG feels. The characters look terrible. The graphics aren't great. There's some pretty cool vistas, but they'll play through the story and they'll think they're getting the full Skyrim experience when they're not really. That's not why people are playing that game for thousands of hours, to get the vanilla experience, but that's all they see. Or they'll just run a few mods through Bethesda.net and think that that's the full Skyrim experience too, but that's definitely not either. Okay, so we need to get back to Brynjolf or Skeeverface. Looks like we need to go back this way. You dirty thief, that's pretty judgmental. How does that person know? Could be a clean thief. Indeed. And how would you actually even know? Riften all smells like fish anyway. It's got to smell like rotting fish. The whole city has to just reek, right? So you wouldn't even be able to smell an individual person in this place.
Word on the street is Golden Glow's been hit. Good job, lass.
Been there, never doing that again with Bethesda.net, yep. Vanilla Skyrim, burr. Yeah, that's shiver-inducing, right? You've been playing like a well-modded Skyrim for 13 years. Going back to vanilla is kind of a scary prospect.
He has no idea the extent of Maven's fury when she's been cut out of a deal, but I'm certain he'll find out. If only the parchment had the buyer's name instead of this odd symbol. Any idea what that might be?
I don't get to enter act with you that often, mostly because I'm engaged with streams. I'm not engaged with streams that often, but when I see your name pop up, it makes me happy. Exactly the same, Joe.
Blast.
Caladran's a familiar
I'll check my
name.
sources and speak to Mercer.
And
But for now, you're off to speak to Maven Black.
on a personal level, yeah,
asked for you
we
by
don't get to
name.
know each other as well as we would if we were all like in the same vicinity and we get to see each other face to face. But we all do share a love of Skyrim in these characters, and I don't think anybody loves their Skyrim characters more than Caladran loves her Skyrim characters, right? Anybody who's been on the Discords with her, they can feel the love that they have for these characters, and it's like, okay, Caladran's my kind of people. And she's always like unassuming and nice and pleasant, and I have no reason to dislike Caladran, and therefore I like Caladran. It's about time I met her. Okay, so we're still kind of in our meek and skittish phase here. So when Brynjolf says that Maven wants to see me, we're scared. We are scared.
No, nothing like that. You're calling on her for business.
Aw, see now Caladran's blushing and smiling. Mission accomplished. How about that? It's always a breath of fresh air doing a Karn stream, which allows you to chill and disconnect from the world for a little while. I agree. That's what Skyrim's all about, right? There's a lot to be stressed out with in the world. Why not just enjoy something that we all love, right? What does Maven want from me?
That's between you and Maven, and I prefer to keep it that way. Don't worry about it. Maven's business dealings usually involve quite a bit of gold for her people.
Speaking of which...
Of course, your pay.
That's Cole
You're
getting a
smart
little
as a
more
whiplash.
confident, right?
Keep doing
She's
right by
her
us.
wit's coming
And there's
out a little
plenty more
bit.
where that came
She's
from.
feeling a little more comfortable around Brynjolf. She knows that Brynjolf and her are on the same side. We're making money together. We're carving out a place in this world together. So she's getting a little more comfortable with the people and the personalities of the Thieves Guild. Still doesn't really know about Mercer. Mercer's still kind of a dick, and she doesn't really know what he's all about. Kind of gets cold, distant vibes from him, like he's not actually connecting with the rest of the guild like everybody else is. So she's gonna avoid him. But everybody else, you know, even if they come off rough on the outside like Vex or Tanelia, she's getting to know them a little better, building up a rapport even with those grumpy bastards. And everybody else here, she's getting to where she's considering them a friend. And her close working relationship with Brynjolf is leading her to become closer to him than anybody else. So she's finding her way. She's feeling a little more comfortable. She needs to go see Maven right now. It's 5:09. Let's get a few hours of sleep. We'll let the city come back alive, and then we'll head out. Bryn's criminally too pretty. Are you saying that as a Brynjolf fan, Caladran, or are you making a comment about his flowing red locks that you're seeing in my game here? Actually, one of the most hilarious comments I've ever had is it was Simpa, who used to be in the Couch Warrior Discord. He hasn't been as active anymore. I haven't seen him for a long time. But he said, like, what the hell did you do to Brynjolf? He looks like Triss Marigold. He totally does in my game. And I had to like say, that's not my fault at all. That's completely Nolvis guy doing the character NPCs on that one. I'm just doing what I'm told as far as the guide has said on that. He is very pretty in this game. Let's see. You could say that it's not just fabulous, but fabulous. Yes, indeed. He's got those flowing Fabio locks. Okay, so we're supposed to meet Maven at the Bee and Barb over here.
Protect yourself right. Buy armor from Grelth.
That's a little bit of a regret that that Cole has here. She feels very much like a fish out of water, being an Argonian in Skyrim. And so when she sees fellow Argonians, she gets a little more comfortable. Just, if nothing else, just a sign that her people are accepted in this area. In the case of Riften, we have the innkeeper who owns this establishment is an Argonian, so at least Argonians are treated as they're not treated as like second-class citizens in this place like maybe they would be in Windhelm. But that did make her feel bad kind of shaking this place down for that protection money. So she still is conflicted about this whole thief thing, but you know, she is feeling like she's part of a group, at least with them.
So you're the one. You don't look so impressive.
Well, sorry you are disappointed. I am not really impressive. I'm just a small Argonian in a big world.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Once again, Brynjolf sends me someone with no backbone.
Not a fan, but
no
not a hater
determination.
either, just being silly. Okay, we're all allowed to be silly here. Like Carlia due to the voice actor. Yeah, the voices, like the unique voices, the Thieves Guild's full of them. Delvin Mallory, Brynjolf, and then of course Carlia. They have those unique voices that are very like pleasing to the ear.
Faith. I don't have
Delvin
faith
not so
in
much, but
anyone.
it's so unique that it's
All I
like
care
you
about is
like
cause
talking
and
to him
effect.
because
Did the job
of
get
his
done, and
unique
was it done
voice.
correctly?
He has a
There's
lot of
no
character
gray
that is,
area.
you know, it puts a smile on your face. His way of talking does, even if it's not like a objectively attractive accent, right? You won't have that problem with me. So where do I begin then? Let's just, if you're only going to be swayed by the consequences of my actions, let's get to the action.
Head to the Bannered Mare in Whiterun and look for Malus Macius. He'll fill you in on all the details.
Okay, we're not going to carry on this conversation
One
any more
time,
than
in case I
possible.
wasn't clear. You butcher this job and you will be sorry.
Cole is very intimidated by Maven. She knows the weight that Maven carries in Riften, the power that she has, and how quick she is to be tempered, and what happens when when her temper pops off. So we don't want to be around Maven any more than possible, and we're also not going to stick around to brazenly argue with her. Okay, so we need to go talk to Malus Macius over in Whiterun. So before we go, let's head over to let's head back into the Thieves Guild here, and
You there. The Dawn Guard
Am I
is
talking
looking
to
for
a
anyone
wall?
willing to fight against the growing vampire menace.
Durak. This
What do you
wall
say?
is named Durak and is trying to recruit me for a Dawn Guard faction, huh? What's the Dawn Guard?
We're vampire hunters. We search out and destroy those blood-sucking scum wherever we find them.
Haven't found anything else quite like. Yeah, most of us haven't, Seth. BGS has put out other games, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Starfield. And even Elder Scrolls 6 isn't going to be another Skyrim. Skyrim, it did something special. I haven't noticed any vampires.
You're not paying attention then, like almost everyone else around here. Haven't you heard that the Hall of the Vigilance was destroyed by vampires? They never took the threat seriously.
Head to the Bannered
and now
Mare.
they pay
Damn,
the
nothing like
price.
being told to go literally halfway across the province, right? Vigilance, Dawn Guard, what the hell are you talking about?
The Vigilance mostly hunt down Daedra worshippers, which is why they got torn to pieces when they went up against vampires. That's why our leader, Isran, is reestablishing the Dawn Guard. Real, serious vampire hunters.
Okay, this, you're talking a bunch of gobbledygook. None of this registers as anything in my reality, so I am not interested.
That's what everybody says. Right up until they find their throat being ripped out by a pack of hungry vampires.
Okay, tell
If
you what.
change your mind and decide to join the fight before it's too late, talk to Isran at Fort Dawn Guard.
As soon as I get
southeast
attacked
of
by
Riften.
hungry vampires, I'll reconsider the situation. But until then, I'm just trying to find my way in Skyrim here. Okay, so let's head back to the Thieves Guild. We'll get some
By
jobs for
tomorrow, I'd like
Whiterun.
to tell about it.
I can go a little over, but not by much. And I do want to do some pickpocket jobs. Before I head off for the day. But I do have my vaccine appointment at 3. And I need to get cleaned up for my game night before I go that, because I'm going like basically straight from that appointment to go hang out with some friends. So I can't stay long, but go a few minutes over. Delvin and Vex, they can both give me some jobs. Now, I am running Thieves' Night on the Town, which is a fantastic mod that does away with the Radiant Quest model for the Thieves Guild progression and getting like these favor quests and everything. You can tell Delvin and you can tell Vex to give you all the jobs in a very specific location. I can't go back to the vanilla Radiant Quest of the way of doing it that way again. So I'll demonstrate how this works. This is a fantastic mod that I feel like everybody should be running. It gives you a new option when you're asking for work for both Delvin and Vex. And for Delvin, it says, I'm ready for some hardcore work.
My clients are getting impatient.
And then you can say, give me all you got in, I want to hit Whiterun hard. So it'll give you all of his quests for Whiterun.
Just remember the rules.
All
keep
at once.
Keep it clean and keep it quiet. Here's the details.
So you don't have to go and fail these quests over and over again to get one that is specific to where you need it. You just take care of all of them in one go. Same thing with Vex.
So, feeling loose? How about you run a job?
Drugo, Il Drugo, welcome, buddy. Hello, everyone. I'm another longtime Skyrim and general Elder Scrolls fan passing by. Someone has probably asked this before, but which character build or roleplay are you most attached to? Well, it changes, right? I've been playing this game for 13 years. I've done my sneak archery phase and everything. Now I'm looking for stuff that's more nuanced, more novel hybrid builds.
Good. We could use the coin.
So I like melee combat without the sneak. But like mixing in a little bit of magic, right? I like combat archery without the sneak, but maybe mixing in a little bit of magic as well. I'm playing a thief character right now because I'm going through all the basic classes again just to try to find everything. Hot
Good.
tips for Whiterun.
Just remember the order.
Just to try to hit all the nooks and crannies of Ordinator because there are a lot of them, and even more in Anirim, the Anirim overhauls. As a whole, but I'm trying to go back to basics now and make sure to shore up my fundamental understanding of the pure thief, the pure mage, and the pure warrior archetypes. So that's what I'm doing now. But yeah, I kind of like open combat without the sneak, and then a little bit of a magic wrinkle to them. So something like a spell sword or like an arcane archer. That's mine. Arashi just woke up. Seems you're doing well. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Nothing like popping in and dropping a grenade. Yeah, right? Yeah, so everybody has their... Oh, Fae Forge came from Ireshot. Awesome. Yeah, I was in Ireshot's stream last night a little bit. For whatever reason, I was having trouble with Magus's stream, so... I went over and hung out with Ireshot a little bit. I love an Ireshot stream. She was working on her Wabbajack list last night. And then her power went out and her stream completely crashed. And then I went back over to Magus's stream and that was working well. And then I had to go to my show after about 30 minutes of that. So, yeah, a little bit of tumult. Did I say that right? I think I did. Technically for me last night trying to drop in on streams, but... ultimately, I got to hang out with a lot of people. It was awesome. You were catching up on her VODs? Awesome. Okay, so we're heading over to Whiterun now. Let's see. Probably just take a carriage over there. We've been paid for our work. Let's take a carriage to Whiterun. And then we'll start case in it. We'll do the fishing job first. Usually I would save this for last, just in case. I'll talk about that on the way over. Let's do this.
Need a ride?
Yes, I would like to hire your
Where
carriage.
do you want to go?
I would like to go to Whiterun, please.
Climb and back, and we'll be off.
So yeah, I usually save the fishing job, the pickpocketing job for last when I do this stuff, because if you get caught and you get chased off, then you haven't done it all for naught, right? It makes sense to do the most dangerous thing last, because then you've already done all your jobs. I'm going to do it first this time because that's where the tension is, and I want to kind of demonstrate how I'm going to be playing this character. Okay, now we got some rain, and it's not completely wrecking the visibility. We have a little less... It's in the middle of the day, so that helps. The fog doesn't help much, but this is workable, I think. But we have a Khajiit camp set up, but none of the actual dudes. Carriage to Whiterun? What, you don't want to take the road of wolves and bears out of Riften? Yeah, especially because I'm kind of dealing with a deadline here. Okay, so where is the fishing quest? What are we doing here? Quests, dampen spirits we can do, burglary job, fishing job. Retrieve Codlac Whitemane's gold ring from Codlac Whitemane. Are you kidding me? Apparently Skyrim Coven of Trolls is coming out. Oh, yeah, no, I saw that. I was gonna post that in the Discords, but it's a creation, right? It's not a mod that's gonna be on Nexus, and it's been very divisive, right? We've had a lot of that stuff is overpriced, and it's not worth it. You get a better version of it somewhere on Nexus. The King Ath Bard's College, I haven't played that yet, but that's getting good reviews, and a lot of people are saying that is worth the money. And this is going to be another one of those. I don't think it's King Ath, it's some other people, but it is a quest mod coming to the creation system. I believe it's going to be paid, but I don't know what the price is. It looks really good. It looks nice, but I just wasn't in the mood to drop that bomb on people, because that ends up being so divisive and so controversial, anything that comes out to those creations. You get some people who are excited for it, you get some people who it's gonna curl their nose hairs and really piss them off, so I kept it out of the Discords, but it does look good. Heavy Burns did a trailer for it, and anything he does is super high quality. It'll get you excited for, he would make a cinematic trailer for Pac-Man, and it would look like the best game you've ever played. All right, so Codlac Whitemane is a harbinger. Let's come in here just see what's going on here. We need to find Codlac. They don't seem to mind that we're here.
This should be good.
They don't seem to care at all. They're fighting amongst themselves. I'm not actually sneaking, so they must be used to visitors. All right. Coven of Crones, that's the one. Yeah, the voice acting, the kind of cinematic aspect of it, looks like it's going to be a pretty good quest line. Whether or not I haven't seen a price drop for it yet, so it could be vastly overpriced like some of the creations are, but seems like the Bard's College expansion was pretty well priced at $10, so we'll see. I don't know. I'll wait for reviews on that.
But I still hear the call of the blood.
We all do. It is our burden to bear. But we can overcome.
You have my brother and I, obviously. But I don't know if the rest will go along quite so easily.
Leave that to me.
Okay. So here we go. They don't seem to mind that I'm here either. Looks like they have some valuables over here too. Now, they're also... let's see if there's a good escape route. So if things go wrong, I don't want to have to fight my way out of the damn companions, right? Out of Jorrvaskr. These are all, by and large, well known as the fiercest warriors in all of Skyrim. So if I get caught, things are going to get bad here real soon. So we need an escape route, right? Doesn't look like Codlac is going anywhere, so I don't really need to case him too much. I don't need to scout him out. He doesn't have like a schedule. He's just going to be sitting down here in the basement. That makes it easy to know where he's going to be when. Now, a lot of these companions, for whatever reason, they seem to be restless sleepers. I know why. Cole doesn't know why. But some of them, they do get some sleep. They'll have to sleep eventually. So I think that this place will best be cased at night. So we'll wait till midnight and see how things look then. We can make a judgment call on whether or not it's going to be a good time to go for that pickpocket. It looks like we have a way down into the underworks here. Doesn't look like anybody has seen me go in here, so they're not going to be suspicious of this place as an escape route. Let's just go ahead and quickly map out and clear a path out into the city, or even better, out into the wilderness outside. Now, I've played a fair bit of the sewers of Skyrim here. Oh, shit. Okay. That's a skeever. There's another one over there. Just kill anything that can hurt us or get in our way during a potential escape. Now, like I said, I've played a fair bit of Sewers of Skyrim, but not enough to know by heart exactly where everything goes. So I'm going to be feeling my way around here a little bit. My wife is, give me a second here. Let's see here. Asking if I want anything to eat. Smoothie and a muffin would be amazing. Stopping at the little coffee shop around the corner, and I like their muffins and I like their smoothies, so I am getting hungry too. Smoothie and a blueberry muffin. Okay, who is this guy? Is he gonna cause me any trouble? A lowlife. What's he got on him? 50 septums, huh? Now, we have encountered a lowlife that was hostile.
Someone there?
Oh my god, he's strong.
I know I heard something.
In Riften, on the way to the cistern. Gotta love that draw speed, right? Now, usually, with this character, I wouldn't be so aggressive. But she needs a way out of here with this fishing job. And if that guy is gonna be aggressive and trying to shake her down while she's trying to get away from the goddamn companions, then she needs to kill him. We're trying to find a way back out, either to the city, not the Dragon's Reach dungeon, or ideally back out to the Skyrim wilderness. Smoothie and a muffin. That sounds really good. Yeah, toward the end, Dragon's Reach substructure. I don't want to do any Dragon's Reach stuff. We're going the wrong way. Yeah, toward the end of all my streams, I always start talking about food, and then I start making everybody really hungry. And for the best worst food. You can do a lot worse than a smoothie and a muffin, right? But that is still a lot of sugar content that I should not be eating. High-level pickpocket using Ordinator is fun. Yeah, I've done it before a little bit using my Shadow Mage character. He had a run as a thief, and he still worships Nocturnal. And I've got like the Thieves' Eye stuff for both lockpicking and pickpocket. And those pickpocket streaks are really fun, really fun. When you see them, for whatever reason, they don't always pop up for me. I don't know why. Oh, this goes right back out to Skyrim. That's good. We need to find that. Okay, this is a one-way drop here. This might be, there is a Thalmor agent plotting an attack, or at least an ambush, on Whiterun, and that might be down here. Yeah, Sewers of Skyrim is far more expansive than most people know, I think. Oh my god, what happened? No! Slipped out somehow. When I turned around, she went like right off the edge. Whew, that was scary. Okay, here we go. So this might be a good exit. Where is this taking us? Okay, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, this is where we want to be. This is our escape route. Let's remember. This could also be a perfect way in as well, to avoid suspicion and avoid being seen on our way into Jorrvaskr. Shit, now I just gotta remember how I got here. I don't know. That's the way out. Okay, back up through the spiral staircase where the lowlife was. So down the stairs all the way to the end of the hall and then to the right. Okay, here we go. So, all right, let's hang out here for 12 hours. We'll go ahead and make ourselves comfortable. If there's a bed or something down here, like a bedroll, I don't think there is. We're going to be tired when we do this, but that's all right. All right. We'll chill out here for 12 hours. Jeez, that's a long time. We'll just have a seat here for 12 hours. That'll put us at midnight. Let everybody kind of go to bed, if they're going to go to bed. That will clear out Jorrvaskr a little bit. People are going to be sleeping. They won't be on their guard. They've been up all day, if they're still up. Sounds like the rain stopped too, so that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Now, hopefully we can stay undetected while people are potentially shuffling back to their beds, which looks like that's what they're doing now. We are in the dark, in the shadows. We have not been seen yet. That's good. Everybody's shuffling into the barracks here. Let's give them a minute to actually go to bed. I don't know that Telma ever actually goes to sleep. But honestly, we're not really worried too much about her cutting us in half as we are about Vilkas and Farkas and even some of the recruits. Okay, the way is pretty clear here now. Let's take a look at our potions and see what we have available. We have pickpocketing. We're going to need that. We stole that from Golden Glow. We have invisibility. We might need that. Definitely using the potion of pickpocketing. 20% is nothing to sneeze at. Okay, let's see if we can get in here without being caught. All right, so here we go. Kodlak has a gold ring that we're trying to get off of him. This is a tough fishing job for our first one, by the way. We do have some bonuses. We have the Thief Stone, which gives us a 10% boost to the effectiveness of pickpocketing. We also have the boots, the Thieves Guild boots, which gives us another 15%. We're going to have the potion, which gives us 20, and we do have, I think, one perk in pickpocketing going into this. So we'll take stamina there. And we do have level 20. I did do some training with Viper, so we're going to go ahead and goose that up now too. So we do have a bunch of buffs here going in. We're going to try to sneak up on Kodlak here. We'll hug the wall. We are very sneaky, so we should be able to get in there without being noticed. If we get caught, there's a good chance we're going to get cut in half. So we need to be able to freaking sprint back down toward the Undercroft. One more thing that I want to do. One more thing here. I am running Shadow of Skyrim. So if I get killed, there are things that they're going to take away from me. If I got caught by the guards, there might come a time when I just have to give up. So I want to give up all of my contraband here. Actually, the damn bow. Well, we're going to keep the bow. Anything else that's worth anything here? There's a certain amount of stolen health potions here. There we go. Stolen tomatoes, we'll drop those. Anything else stolen? Be in a jar, garnet, lesser soul gem. Septums, we're gonna drop all of our septums off in this dead drop here. Okay, everything else I can kind of do without. In fact, I'm even going to put the Veil in, because if Shadow of Skyrim, if I get killed on my way out of here, I might lose the warbow, and I want that. And maybe some dwarven arrows here too. Everything else I can do without. If I get caught or if I get killed, I'm not going to lose this stuff. It's in a dead drop right here. I just better not freaking forget about it, right? All right. That's our dead drop. So we have our escape route. We have our dead drop. If we get caught, no big deal. If we get killed, it might be a big deal, but less so now that we know we can get our weapon back. All right, now's the time, guys. You guys ready? All of this preparation for this one moment. We got 60 seconds to use the pickpocketing here. Slow and steady. Codlac, white mains, gold ring. We have 90 with all of our buffs and everything. Luckily, it's just a gold ring. It wasn't an expensive ring. The more valuable the ring, the harder it is to pickpocket one way or another. Luckily, this is just a gold ring. We have 93% to steal. It's not 100%. We have a 7% chance that we're going to get caught. And I don't know if it's just the way that you see things, but I feel like the percentages to get caught happen way more often than they should with pickpocketing in Skyrim. All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we can breathe. Let's try not to get caught. We're still not out of the water yet. Although as an Argonian, we probably want to try to get back into the water as soon as possible. We're still taking our escape route. We're going to go hit up our dead drop on the way out. Might have to we have to hotkey our Valenwood Warbow. There we go. We've cleared the escape route out. We already know where we're going to get out of the city so that we can let the heat kind of dissipate a little bit. Re-enter the city through the front gates to avoid suspicion. And we can move from there. This should take us right back out to the wilderness, out of the city, and out of harm's way. Okay, that was it. Our first fishing job. Well done. Now we still have a crap ton of other thieving jobs to do, but these are kind of less rough. This is more so just, you know, lock picking and making sure you don't get seen. But this is how I play the thief, right? This is how you get the most out of a thief playthrough. A lot of players, the players who do like the vanilla Skyrim stuff, they're gonna save scum their way through every pickpocketing attempt. That gets rid of all the fun of the thief, right? All the planning, all the casing of the joint, getting everybody into the specific positions that you want, and then plotting out your escape route, and then picking the right moment, and then that tension of, okay, with this pickpocketing specifically, am I going to get caught or am I not? That's where all the fun is for the thief for me, and that's what I'm really going to be dialing in on with the rest of this playthrough. So that was very much worth going 15 minutes over to show you guys where the fun of this playthrough is going to come and how I'm going to approach these jobs going forward. And I feel like this is a really good way this is good stream material, I think, right? There's not a lot of action, like combat and stuff, but there is a lot of tension to it, right? And there could be a lot of action if we get caught, if and when we get caught. So, yeah, I hope you like this. I'm going to do a video guide for this too, of like a guide on how to have more fun as a thief in Skyrim or something like that. And I'm going to talk my way through all of this stuff so that people, this works with the vanilla game too, right? Plotting out your escape routes and having contingencies plans and the dead drops, getting rid of your contraband before you do something potentially illegal that you could get potentially caught for and put in jail where they're going to confiscate all that stuff. Think about it tactically, think about it methodically, and you're going to have a lot more fun with it than just save scumming your way through every pickpocketing encounter, right? Really cool stuff. Okay, that's it for me, guys. Have fun this weekend playing Skyrim or doing what other things you're doing. I'm not going to judge you. I'm also not going to ask all of the illicit things you're up to this weekend. But whatever it is, have fun, be safe, be well, and I'll see you next time, okay? If you like this content, go ahead and click around in the links below. There are many talented content creators out there that all bring their own sort of special little personalities to the game, and you might see the game in a new way that will inform your next playthrough. All right, so that's it for me, guys. Again, take care. Thanks for dropping by, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye, guys.